When an athlete walks into Nick Garage Fitness, the one thing we want them to know is that this is a phenomenal community. We have the best coaching, we have the best technology, we have the programming that can help them succeed. So whether it's trying to get on JV for the first time, going to that next level on varsity, going from a second string to an all-state player, we have the tools, we have the programming and the coaching in order to take each individual to their next level.
Our year-end sales event is going on now at DeArmond Ford, Indianola.
Find out why more people are coming to DeArmond Ford, Indianola to buy their new Fords and certified pre-owned vehicles.
Come see the newest state-of-the-art dealership in the area. Every new Ford and pre-owned used is clearly tagged with one low price. Experience the DeArmond difference.
DeArmond Ford, Indianola, DeArmondFord.com.
Winter sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses. Whiter Realtors, the 515 Agency, Springer Floor Care, Hearts of Ankeny Animal Hospital, Ted Sandine Photography, U.S. Cellular, Made in the Shade, Blinds and More, the Edward Jones Office of Kent Patterson, and Fiscus Jewelers.
You're watching Iowa High School basketball on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire. Tonight, we've got an action-packed doubleheader of hoops action as the Johnston Dragons go head-to-head with the Ankeny Centennial Jaguars. And hello, everyone. We're delighted to have you with us on this Tuesday night from inside Ankeny Centennial High School in Ankeny, alongside our CISN.TV crew. I'm Hunter Phillips. We're just a handful of weeks into the 2022 through 23 high school hoops season, and already we have seen our fair share of surprises, wild finishes, and breathtaking performances. And there will be no shortage of excitement tonight as a pair of CIML programs will collide, beginning with a highly anticipated matchup on the girls' side. Preparing for its third road contest on the young season, the reigning Class 5A champions, the Johnston Dragons, are proving once again that they boast one of the top squads in the entire state, entering tonight with a perfect 6-0 record and ranked number 2 in the latest poll from the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union. Head coach Chad Jillick has his Dragons firing on all cylinders, recently topping Urbandale by 47 points. Johnston is second in Class 5A in scoring and assists, while leading the state in three-point shooting. But a tough task awaits them tonight in number 6 Ankeny Centennial. Back at home for the first time since hosting Roosevelt on December 6th, the Jaguars split its games on the road last week. On Friday, Centennial would drop a hard-fought affair at Valley before sharply responding the next day in Ames, blowing by the Little Cyclones 65-25 to improve to 6-2. The Jaguars' lone losses coming against Dowling Catholic and back to Valley were by a combined 5 points. Centennial ranks 5th in scoring in Class 5A and 3rd in scoring defense. The Jaguars also paced the state in total rebounding. Following the girls' game, we'll bring you Game 2 of our doubleheader featuring the boys as the undefeated Ankeny Centennial Jaguars host an always formidable Johnston Dragons squad that is 3-2. We're hooping on a Tuesday night here in Ankeny. We'll step aside for a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll bring you the starting lineups and tip-off between Johnston and Ankeny Centennial. You're watching Iowa High School basketball on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
Do you know what the best part about being a dog is? You can hear disaster before it even happens. You know what they say about disaster? Sometimes it can inspire a symphony. An honest day's work deserves an honest day's treat.
No extra charge.
And that is why we choose Honest Wrenches. No extra charge. And it's how service should be.
Over 1,300 vehicles on WaukeeChevy.com. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. If we don't have it, you can build it. Newly expanded service department means we're hiring. See the openings on WaukeeChevy.com. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
Winter sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses. Weichert Realtors, the 515 Agency. Summit Family Dental. All-Star Concrete. The Prairie Trail Sports Complex. Joe Bennett Homes. Ankeny Orthodontics. Rainbow of the Heartland. And West 40 Market.
Welcome back to Ankeny Centennial High School for a highly anticipated doubleheader between the Johnston Dragons and the Ankeny Centennial Jaguars. Welcome back here to Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire. Hunter Phillips along with our crew. Delighted to have you with us here on this Tuesday night, packed gym here in the jungle for what is always a fun encounter between the Dragons and the Jaguars. Before we do get underway here tonight, we want to be sure and thank Weichert Realtors, the 515 agency, for presenting our girls and boys basketball coverage all season. Matt Pazusta and Ryan Hoover were recently recognized with the Community Investment Award from the Ankeny Economic Development Corporation and look forward to helping you buy or sell your next home. So you have the defending Class 5A champions on one side and Johnston carrying a 31-game win streak into tonight's game. Their last loss coming in the Class 5A championship in 2021 against the Waukee Warriors. But for Ankeny Centennial, coming in with a lot of confidence, especially after getting a bounce-back victory over Ames on the road last Saturday after a narrow defeat at West Des Moines Valley, 65-25 once again was that final score. And for Centennial, their lone two losses coming by 5 points in total, 4 points or fewer in both games. The Jaguars 2-1 when playing here at the friendly confines of the jungle, while Johnston and 5-0 to start the season, 3-0 in CIML action, and are 3-0 here at home. Both teams, or on the road rather, both teams loaded with talent, both squads well coached. Of course, you have Scott DeYoung on the one side for Ankeny Centennial, his 10th season here, inherited this program since the start. He's been coaching for 35 seasons. And Chad Gillick, what a program he has built on the other side for Johnston. They have won 20 or more games in 6 out of the last 7 seasons. They only played a total of 20 games in the 2020 through 21 season, closing in on 200 wins in his career at Johnston. This his 9th season at the helm for the Dragons girls basketball program. Here in just a matter of moments, we will turn things over to our public address announcer to meet the starting lineups for both squads. And then we'll take a quick break, and then we'll get rolling here for this doubleheader between the Johnston Dragons and the Ankeny Centennial Jaguars, once again here on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
Good evening, ladies
Introducing first from the Dragons at guard, number 10, Jenica Lewis. And starting at guard for the Jaguars, 5'8" sophomore, number 4, Jaden Pratt. For the Dragons, guard, number 22, Aaliyah Riley. And for the Jaguars, at guard, 5'8" sophomore, number 5, Maya Crawford. For the Dragons, at guard, number 24, Molly Nelk. And for the Jaguars, at guard, 5'6" senior, number 10, Avery Porter. And for the Dragons, at guard, number 30, Eiley Tanky. And for the Jaguars, at guard, 5'7" senior, number 11, McKenna Clark. For the Dragons, at forward, number 33, Emma Hampton. And rounding out the starting lineup for the Jaguars, at 4, 6'1" senior, number 24, Kennedy White. Dragons are coached by head coach Chad Jellick with the assistance of Mark Pine.
Those are the starters for tonight's game. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll have tip-off for you here in Ankeny on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire. And welcome to Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire. It is the Johnston Dragons, the number 2 team in Class 5A at a perfect 5-0 on the season, going up against 6th-ranked Ankeny Centennial, arriving here at home with a 6-2 record. Hunter Phillips along with our crew, delighted to have you with us here tonight for what is going to be an exciting matchup between 2 top 10 teams in all of Class 5A. Large crowd on hand here for this one, getting ready for our first quarter, which is brought to you by the All-Star Concrete team, specializing in all your commercial and street paving needs. Ball is in the air, and the tip is won by Ankeny Centennial. Off we go here on this Tuesday night. Centennial in their home white uniforms, black numerals and lettering, gray trim. Ankeny across the chest for the Jaguars that work down low with Kennedy White. Shot doesn't fall, but Crawford there to grab the board for the Jaguars. Entering their fourth home game on the young season. Travel called against the Jaguars. Meanwhile, for the Johnston Dragons, sporting their road all-black uniforms with purple numerals and lettering white trim. Johnston across the chest for a team that is looking every bit the part of defending their Class 5A title, and they go right to work. Emma Hampton, 6'1" senior, gets the scoring started for the Dragons. White once again off the glass, shot doesn't fall. Molly Nolk there with the board. Nolk, one of 4 seniors on this Johnston team that is one of the deepest in the state. Nolk gives it up to Aaliyah Riley. Riley, a 5'8" junior, had 9 points in the win at Urbandale last Friday. 10 on the shot clock here for the Dragons. Riley gets a screen. Floater falls in. So a 4-0 run for the Dragons to get the night started here against Ankeny Centennial. McKenna Clark. Jaden Pratt's pass picked off by the Dragons. Known for their scoring, but can make plays on defense. Skip pass in to Riley, counts for another bucket, and a quick timeout is called by Ankeny Centennial. And we will take one with them. Actually, we'll go ahead and stay here as well, as it is a 30-second timeout. But Aaliyah Riley with 4 of the 6 early points for the Johnston Dragons, who have been getting it done on defense. That has led to really good looks in transition. Johnston, a team that can score with the best of them, second in the state in scoring offense, averaging 65.4 points per game, but allowing just 36.5 points per game. So defense has really been one of the underrated areas for this team here to start the season. Centennial not too shabby as well, offensively 5th in Class 5A in scoring, and our 3rd in scoring defense. Team that leads the state in offensive rebounding, and they give it up once again. Back-to-back steals by Jenica Lewis. Count the bucket, and one for Lewis, who's off to a terrific start here tonight. Lewis compiling steals 9 and 10 here in her first varsity season for the Dragons. Bright future for her, and she completes the 3-point play. Dragons setting the tone here early, up 9-0. Just under 6 to play here in quarter number 1. Jaguars looking to get something going here. Can't settle for empty possessions. Maya Crawford off the handoff. Whistle and a foul on the Dragons. Believe they'll get that on Riley. And that will send the 5'10" sophomore to the line. Crawford, a 55.6% free throw shooter this season. First one off the iron. Centennial as a team, 74% free throw shooting squad. Second free throw on the way, and that is the first point here in the ballgame for Centennial. It took them a little over 2 minutes to crack the score column. Layup off the mark for Emma Hampton. One and done possession. Here comes Crawford for the Jaguars. McKenna Clark. Here's Crawford. And now Pratt will reset here for the Jaguars. Kennedy White, left open, lets it fly, and knocks it down. Tenth made 3 for Kennedy White this season. As you saw right there, Johnston allowed her to shoot and splashes it home for the first made 3 on the night for either team. 9 for Johnston, who gets it swiped away, and a foul on the floor will go against Eiley Tenke. So after an initial 9-0 run by Johnston, now Ankeny Centennial starting to settle in. Here's White, 6'1" senior, sets a screen for McKenna Clark. They go down low to White. Shot left a little short. There's the offensive rebounding prowess. 3 on the way. In and out there for Avery Porter. Maya Crawford with her 3rd offensive rebound here in the first quarter. Clark driving through. Gets it blocked. Balancing act along the line. And it will stay with Ankeny Centennial. Molly Noak thought that was last off of the Jaguars before it rolled out of bounds. Just an awkward-looking sequence, but the Jaguars really fighting here in this possession. Crawford, one of 6 sophomores on this Ankeny Centennial squad, gives it up to fellow sophomore Jaden Pratt. Here's White, setting the screen for Crawford. Jaguars being methodical here. Corner tray by Crawford. Off the mark. Rebound by Johnston. Here is Tanky. Euro step and the floater. Gets in for Tanky. Exploded for 22 points in the win against their crosstown rival Urbandale last week. White gets it blocked from behind by Emma Hampton. Johnston, a team that averages 3.5 blocks per game. Up 11-4 here as we have 3.5 to play in our first quarter. Checking in for Johnston is Jace Blanchard, 5'10" senior. And for fellow senior Molly Noak. Tremendous athletes on this Johnston team as Crawford catches, gets it knocked loose, but still maintains her dribble. Blanchard, a Northern Iowa track and field commit. Emma Hampton, who is back in the starting lineup for the Jaguars, committed to play soccer at the University of Iowa. Travel on the Jaguars. So just as Ankeny Centennial really made Johnston work defensively, the Dragons were able to answer, causing yet another turnover. Riley brings it up for the Dragons. Have won 31 consecutive games. Avery Porter with the active hands, out of bounds. It will stay with Johnston, but they will have to inbound it here. Back on the other end of the floor. Finley Blackmore in for the first time tonight for Kennedy White. Blackmore among that long list of sophomores that suits up for head coach Scott DeYoung. A Centennial program that is going to make some noise for years to come, no doubt. 9 on the shot clock here for the Dragons to operate with. Riley, nice dish down low, off the glass and in is Tanky. Riley was just calm and collected handling the ball there as the shot clock was starting to dwindle down, and hooked up with reliable number 30. Tanky now with 4 points, all coming in the paint. And another takeaway by the Dragons. Again, just showing their active hands out on the perimeter defensively. Isabella Balsley, junior guard, in for the first time tonight, in for Aaliyah Riley. Chad Gillick in his 9th season at Johnston will go to a lot of players. Depth is one of the strong points for this Dragon team. 3, far side. Doesn't go. Jaguars looking for their first bucket in a few minutes. Crawford forcing the action, up and under for Maya Crawford. Crawford has gotten many offensive rebounds, 3 already, and gets a bucket there. And a foul on the Jaguars. That will go against Blackmore. Both teams with 2 team fouls. Here as we have just under 2 minutes to play here in our opening quarter. Working off the inbounds, Balsley searching for the handoff now, gets it to Allie Tenke. Bump foul on Jaden Pratt. One of the many battles to watch in the game here tonight. Jalea Kinnitz and Tilly Smith checking in for their respective squads. Reach and foul from behind on Blackmore. That'll be her second. Fouls quickly picking up here on the Jaguars. That is their 4th team foul. And Kennedy White in for Blackmore. Kinnitz, freshman guard, inbounds it. Pass gets tipped. Out of bounds. And that should stay with Johnston. Initially ruled Ankeny Centennial ball. Just getting it in, and it's swiped away by Jaden Pratt. Tremendous multi-sport athlete for the Jaguars. Loses her behind the back dribble. Got knocked loose initially by Blanchard. Floater. In and out for Hampton. Corner 3, far side. Airballed. Tapped out of bounds by the Dragons. Bit of an offensive stalemate for both teams here over the last few minutes. And what we were going to expect, just a hard, gritty battle between 2 well-coached teams that have a blend of youth and experience. Crawford gives it up to Jaden Pratt. Off the cut, she's got it. Low block, count it. No, they're going to give an offensive foul to Pratt. Initially started to celebrate, but too much contact on Pratt. I believe that is her second foul, so something to keep an eye on. Did not add another foul to the scoreboard, so maybe stepping out of bounds, not sure. But either way, it is Johnston basketball. Euro step floater rolls off for Ailey Tenke. About a 7-second difference between shot and game clock. They work it down low to White. Knocked down a 3 earlier here in the quarter off the jab step. Crawford. Good defense by Riley. Johnston basketball. Johnston is letting Ankeny Centennial know that if you're going to try to drive against us, you're going to earn points tonight. That just goes back to the length and overall athleticism by this Johnston team. Emma Hampton checking back in for the Dragons. Dragons got off to a 9-0 run to start this game. But really over the last 4 minutes, both teams have been tested by one another. Off a high screen, Riley, nice give into Hampton, but met up by a wall of Jaguars. It will be a travel. So it will be Ankeny Centennial basketball with 6.1 to go here in the first. McKenna Clark in for Johnston, who will be applying a bit of pressure here on the inbounds. Clark ahead to Crawford. Crawford kicks it out. Here's a 3 at the horn. That does not fall for Avery Porter. And that will take us to our second quarter here in Ankeny. Fun start to this one. Johnston leads Ankeny Centennial 13-6. We'll be back with the second quarter after this on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
We are
We are so much more
than an energy company.
We are connectors,
community protectors,
and clean energy leaders.
We are
job creators,
friends and neighbors,
stewards of your dollars and savings.
Yes, we
are so much more.
We are the energy
behind your everyday.
And we are
obsessively,
relentlessly
at your service.
For 75 years, Holt service trucks have hit the streets of central Iowa to help customers in need. It might be for plumbing, heating, cooling, a water heater, or the usual repairs and maintenance. We've done that with quality work from quality employees who bring passion and personality to the job. That's the Holt difference. It gives me great pride to see how our company has grown from the seeds of success my grandfather planted in 1947. That's why more and more central Iowans are saying, let Holt handle that.
Welcome back to the West 40 Market second quarter. West 40 Market is your one-stop shop for individual cuts of Iowa-raised beef, pork, chicken, bison, turkey, and lamb. From ground meat steaks and beef snack sticks to brisket and roasts. You'll love the variety of cuts they offer. Located at 1350 Southwest Maple Street in Uptown Ankeny. They also carry a variety of local honey, rubs, jams, and sauces. Shop in-store online for convenient pickup, delivery, or shopping nationwide. Follow them on Facebook or Instagram at West 40 Market. Aaliyah Riley dialing up a three. That doesn't reach the iron. Here to start the second quarter. Foul will go against Johnston, who was up 13-6. Going into our second quarter of play, along with our Centennial digital crew on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire. I'm Hunter Phillips. Fun start to this one between two top 10 teams in Class 5A. The Dragons going on a 9-0 run to begin the ball game, carrying a 13-6 lead here into the second quarter. Too strong from White. Offensive rebound. Here's a three by Pratt. Too strong. And White will be called for the foul, battling for the offensive rebound. So we've already seen Ankeny Centennial, their tenacity to get on the glass on the offensive side. Again, they are the top rebounding team in the state. But the second chance and sometimes third chance opportunities have been met by a very stingy Johnston defense. Meanwhile, the Dragons turn it over. Avery Porter's pass at half court, just too far ahead for Maya Crawford. And those are the kind of plays that you want to have back if you're Ankeny Centennial. Johnston has won the last 4 games in this series. Riley with 6 points here in this opening half. They're getting the layup to go. Centennial searching for their first win against the Dragons since January 4th of 2019. Bunch of teams here in the Des Moines Metro have been trying to solve this tricky puzzle that is of the Johnston Dragons. Porter, the William Jewell women's basketball commit, gives it out to McKenna Clark. Crawford pulling up from the right elbow. The rim has not been kind to the Jaguars here early. And here come the Dragons. Spinning is Jenica Lewis. Good ball movement leaves Tanky with a good look. Three doesn't fall. Tanky on this season, a 57.6% three-point shooter. Been excellent from long range this season. And again, Johnston ranks first in all of Class 5A in three-point shooting. Avery Porter. Here's Pratt. Did not score in the first half. Fadeaway jumper. No. Rebound Lewis, who had a pair of steals there in the first quarter. Outlet pass tipped by the Jaguars, who will bring back in Tilly Smith, 5'4" sophomore. Off the catch, Hampton. Riley with such speed. Not the touch there on the layup, but Centennial gives it away off the glass. And getting her third steal with the follow is Jenica Lewis. 5 points, 3 steals now for Jenica Lewis, who averages 6 points, 4 rebounds, and 2.5 assists per game. A talented guard that can do a little bit of everything. And there is Kennedy White using her strength and height to her advantage, low post. Much needed bucket for the Jaguars. 3 off the mark for Johnston. Jenica Lewis again. Reading the passes by the Jaguars, who luckily get to keep it, bring it into their front court, but then it's picked off by Molly Nolk. That has been the story. Johnston's defense taking it away from Ankeny Centennial. 17-8 Dragons. Riley backs it up to Tanky. Hampton down low. And from her back, White brings it down for Ankeny Centennial. And as Centennial brought it across half court, a timeout on the floor called by the Jaguars. Will be a 30-second timeout once again, so we'll go ahead and stay here. Again, if you're just joining us, Johnston led early, setting the tone with a 9-0 run and led in the first quarter, 13-6. Have outscored Centennial 4-2 here early on in the second quarter. Scott DeYoung just wanting to regroup his team. They've had some good opportunities. Again, they've played their brand of basketball, get second chance, third chance opportunities, but have come close, but unfortunately have not been able to get the points needed to try to put pressure on the Johnston Dragons. Back we go. Crawford, 3. Doesn't get the bank shot. White, the lone player for Ankeny Centennial, to hit a 3. Nolk lets one fly. Too strong. Crawford doing a great job on the glass on both ends. Snares another board. Less than 3.5 to play here in the opening half. White had 2 on her initially. That leaves Smith open. 3 is in. Smith with her 9th made 3, and now the Jaguars, after that made bucket, getting a nice effort there right in front of their bench. Getting the steal. Avery Porter hands it off to Crawford. McKenna Clark guarded by the watchful eye of Jenica Lewis. Crawford getting by Tanky, up and in. So a 4-0 run by the Jaguars out of their most recent timeout. And as the Dragons were orchestrating that handoff, foul on the floor. That is on White. Team foul number 6 on the Jaguars here in our first half. So after picking up that most recent foul, White more than likely will not see her for the rest of the first half. Drawing yet another foul is Kinnitz for the Dragons, who just checked in. So the freshman guard, Jalea Kinnitz, at the line. Misses the front end. 9 points off the bench in the Dragons' monstrous win over Urbandale last Friday. Dragons shoot just a shade under 69% from the line. Kinnitz can't connect on both. Jaguars working out of the press. Last off of Kinnitz Centennial in that particular sequence trying to catch the Dragons sleeping. After a quick breather, back comes Maya Crawford in for McKenna Clark. Porter throws in the inbounds and met by Hampton. Marvelous footwork. Reverse layup not there for Kinnitz. And then we'll go back to the Jaguars. Back and forth play here in this first half. Johnston up by 4 and continuing to press, really challenging the ball handling and passing of the Jaguars. They get it across. Crawford challenging. Contact there, and as Ankeny brought down the loose ball, timeout called by Chad Gillick and Johnston. 30-second timeout for Johnston. Scott DeYoung, wanting a few words, thought that there was a lot of contact on the way up as Crawford went for that layup, and he's saying, man, we're not getting those calls when we're defending. That just led to a very physical start, back and forth start to this one, and wouldn't expect anything different. Here's where 3 to 4 weeks into the Iowa High School hoop season. Only December, but feels like this will no doubt be a matchup that will be really fun to watch once we get close to state tournament time. Aaliyah Riley, active first half, going up against Porter. Called for a walk there. Both teams with too many turnovers to the liking of their coaches. McKenna Clark brings it up for Centennial. Will play her college basketball at Wayne State. Crawford. Met up by Riley. Here's we have less than 90 to play. Here in the first half, Porter. And then Pratt trying to save it from going out. Great effort by the sophomore. Johnston just so tough on the defensive end of the floor, only giving up 6 points in the opening quarter. 7 scored by Ankeny Centennial here in the second. In fact, they're still on a 4-0 run. That's lasted a couple of minutes. Lewis scoops it to Ankeny with the shot fake. Pulls up and drains it from inside the free throw line. Ankeny's got every shot in the book. Such a talented scorer. Second in the state in three-point shooting. In terms of three-point shooting percentage. Jaguars quickly driving to the lane to draw a foul. And so that just shows the ability of Ankeny right there. Not only her mid-range game, but when needed, she can score on the outside, but hasn't had to depend on that thus far. First free throw is in for McKenna Clark. First make on the season for Clark, who was 0 for 1 from the charity stripe. J.C. Blanchard as well as Molly Nolk. Some experience back in for Johnston. Clark splits the pair. Ankeny with the rebound, but Pratt takes it away. But the Dragons hang tough defensively to thwart any kind of reverse layup there from Pratt. 3-second difference between shot and game clock before we go to halftime. 5-point lead for the Dragons. Ankeny finds Bowlesley in the corner. Now out to Kinnett, 3. Off by Kinnitz. Now here's Porter. Bringing it up. Heaves one up. Doesn't fall. and that will take us to halftime here in Ankeny. Back and forth. Energetic start to this contest between the Jaguars and the Dragons, and it will be number 2 Johnston taking a 5-point lead into the locker room against number 6 Ankeny Centennial, 19-14. We'll step aside for a break. When we come back, we'll recap all of the action that we just saw from the first half. Coming up next here on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
So when an athlete walks into Nick Garage Fitness, the one thing we want them to know is that this is a phenomenal community. We have the best coaching. We have the best technology. We have the programming that can help them succeed. So whether it's trying to get on JV for the first time, going to that next level on varsity, going from a second string to an all-state player, we have the tools, we have the programming and the coaching in order to take each individual to their next level.
For 75 years, Holt service trucks have hit the streets of central Iowa to help customers in need. It might be for plumbing, heating, cooling, a water heater, or the usual repairs and maintenance. We've done that with quality work from quality employees who bring passion and personality to the job. That's the Holt difference. It gives me great pride to see how our company has grown from the seeds of success my grandfather planted in 1947. That's why more and more central Iowans are saying, let Holt handle that.
Hi, this is Chris from Fireplace Superstore, and you've probably noticed there's shortages on most everything in the market today. Well, Heat and Glow has helped us out this year, and they are focusing their energy on their gas fireplace inserts. So if you've got a drafty old wood-burning fireplace and you want to get it retrofitted into a beautiful, high-efficient gas fireplace, come see us. We will have product to sell you.
Heat and Glow gas fireplace insert from Fireplace Superstore, 109th and Douglas in Urbandale, just west of Homeacres.
Winter sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses. Weichert Realtors, the 515 Agency, Sinorama Ankeny, Discus Jewelers, Lincoln Savings Bank, member FDIC, 72 Degrees, your comfort company, the New York Life Office of Josh Cowart, Rock Valley Physical Therapy, and the Iowa Rush Soccer Club.
We have reached halftime here on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire. Alongside our CISN crew here on this Tuesday night, I'm Hunter Phillips. The youngsters getting some shots in here at halftime. And what a tight battle after 16 minutes of play between the Dragons and the Jaguars. 19-14, Johnston on top of Ankeny Centennial. As we noted, Johnston getting off to a very good start, setting the tone on a 9-0 run, would outscore Ankeny Centennial 13-6 there in the opening quarter. But then Ankeny Centennial, playing some tough defense and getting hard-earned buckets, would end the first half on a 5-0 run, outscoring Johnston 8-6 there in the second quarter. But it is the Dragons up in a low-scoring affair after one half, 19-14. Notable performances from the likes of Aaliyah Riley, 6 points there in the opening half, 4 of which coming in the first quarter. And then Maya Crawford grabbing a number of offensive rebounds. She also had 4 points there in the opening half as well. Other good performances from Jenica Lewis, nabbed at least 3 steals there in that first half as well for a Johnston team that really made Ankeny Centennial work for all of their buckets there through the opening half. Did want to go over once again the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union Class 5A basketball rankings that were released last Thursday, December 8th. The new rankings will be coming out here in just a couple of days. Waterloo West remaining at number 1. They are hosting Cedar Rapids Jefferson tonight. The Wallhawks at 5-0. Johnston at number 2. Of course, playing number 6 Ankeny Centennial here tonight. Number 3 Pleasant Valley. They're hosting Davenport West. Pleasant Valley at 5-0. We do have an update from Pleasant Hill. 4th-ranked Southeast Polk undefeated at 6-0, hosting 9th-ranked Dowling Catholic. And how about this? Dowling Catholic up 34-18 at half there in hostile territory. So a big half for the Dowling Catholic Maroons, who you can make a case are the best 3-3 team in the state. Do not let that record fool you. Joaquin Northwest at 3-2. They are at Ankeny tonight. And crosstown, it is the Hawks up on the Wolves 26-16. There at halftime, Iowa City West coming in at number 7. They are 4-0, hosting Wallard Catholic. West Des Moines Valley coming in at number 8. They are 4-1, and they are hosting Cedar Rapids, Washington. And then, as we noted, Dowling Catholic at number 9 and Ankeny at number 10. But between these two top 10 teams in Class 5A, it has been a barn burner, 19-14. Johnston on top of Ankeny Centennial. We'll go ahead and take another break. When we come back, we'll continue to get you all set up for our second half here in Ankeny on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
When you need to conquer the drifts on your property, get the job done your way. The Western Defender Compact Snowplow. All the professional grade features in just the right size for your mid-sized pickup or SUV. Easy to attach and easy to use. Get the performance to plow like this and finish like this. Western, more jobs done faster.
Visit Truck Equipment Inc. today at truckequipmentinc.com.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Winter sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses. Dick Jirash Fitness, the Ankeny Real Estate Group, Lamberti Goki Lucci Law, Cabaret Sports Bar and Grill, U.S. Cellular, Sinorama Ankeny, Wendy Thompson, an affiliate of Humble Travel, and Lincoln Savings Bank, member FDIC.
We're just a few minutes away from getting back underway here at Ankeny Centennial High School in Ankeny, here on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire. Here at half, once again, Johnston on top of Ankeny Centennial, 19-14. Want to pass along a few other scores around the Metro taking place here on this Tuesday night. We already noted the big surprise out in Pleasant Hill, but an update again that Dowling Catholic at number 9, leading undefeated in 4th-ranked Southeast Polk, 34-18. Then across town, Ankeny leading Waukee Northwest, 26-16. Waukee, whom Ankeny Centennial will travel to play on Friday, they are leading Urbandale at halftime, 36-24. And then Des Moines North, they are ranked in the top 15 in the latest rankings. They are at Mason City, and right now Mason City leading by 1 there, 31-30 at halftime. So fairly close action all across the state in Class 5A. Johnston carrying a 31-game win streak into this one. Reloading after losing a few notable players to graduation, including Jada Jimfee, Anna Gosling, among a talented group of seniors, but they have laid the foundation, even going back to the days of Maya McDermott, have laid the foundation for this program, who has just continuously been playing at such a high level. Again, they led 13-6 after the opening quarter, but then Ankeny Centennial was able to edge out Johnston there in the second quarter, 8-6. Centennial doing some things well there in the opening half, particularly on the offensive glass, getting second and sometimes third chance opportunities, and then trying to break through this Johnston defense that has been mixing a few different looks of zone and man and mixing in a press when needed to try to keep one of the top offenses in Class 5A on their toes here tonight. But everything you could possibly ask for, we have seen. And we still have one half of basketball left here in Ankeny. And again, coming up after our girls' game, the back end of our doubleheader with the Johnston boys at 3-2 and the Ankeny Centennial boys, who found out today that they are ranked third in the state. The AP Iowa boys basketball prep poll coming out today, so the Jaguars at 4-0 at number 3. Both teams will be entering that game with some confidence for sure. Again, a very nice crowd on hand here on this Tuesday night, trying to get out of the rain and wind that we have seen all day here in central Iowa. And for those watching back home, we're once again glad to have you with us here for our Rainbow of the Heartland third quarter, which will be coming up. Parents and grandparents, check out Rainbow of the Heartland in Grimes for the best in swing sets, basketball hoops, courts, and trampolines. They also offer commercial playgrounds and have been Iowa's playground superstore for 25 years. Call 1-800-RAINBOW or visit rainbowoftheheartland.com. So both coaches, Chad Gillick, Scott DeYoung, have a ton of respect for one another. Been with their programs for 9-10 years. Getting a little clarification before we do get back underway here tonight. And it will be Ankeny Centennial opening up our second half with the ball. One thing to note, the foul trouble of Kennedy White. It's been great down low, and there's the first bucket here of the night for Jaden Pratt. Centennial's second leading scorer at 10.6 points per game. Just a tough guard that's caught the attention of several schools for basketball. Hampton, off the nice give from Lewis, gets the finish. The Dragons have seemed to have an answer up to this point from Centennial. But again, they ended that first half on a 5-0 run. Crawford driving against Riley. Here is Avery Porter. Clark back out to Porter. 8 on the shot clock. Hands it off to Pratt. Jaden Pratt, 4 early points here in the third quarter. Makes it a 21-18 ball game. Johnston has led the entire way up to this point. Molly Nolk up top. Right side to Tanky, setting the screen for Riley. Doesn't get the touch. Tanky, rebound, put back left short. Jaden Pratt, she averages nearly 8 rebounds per game, gets one there. Crawford, initial head fake. Pratt taps out the rebound. Crawford calling for it. Porter got it swatted on the way up. That foul will be called against Jenica Lewis. Jenica Lewis, very deceptive, again, with the length that she has. He's made a number of defensive plays tonight, but too much contact sends the senior Avery Porter to the line. Knocks down the first. Porter entered the night 7 of 11 from the free throw line. And will be taking her talents to William Jewell College. Down to a 1-point lead for the Dragons. Centennial trying to keep the pressure on. Tanky. Knocked loose. Who's got it? The Jaguars do. Big takeaway by Centennial, looking for their first lead of the night. White. Off the glass, left short. The Jaguars again there with an offensive rebound. Jaden Pratt calling for a screen. Now looking back at Coach DeYoung, will reset the offense. She's helped get the Jaguars back in it here in the third. Picks up her dribble. Scoops it into White. Up and under. White not going to be denied. And now Ankeny Centennial in the lead for the first time on the night. Just the start the Jaguars needed out of the locker room. Hampton. Tanky. Double team. Has to give it up to Nolk. Riley's been that calming presence. Gives it to Hampton. Step back three. Just reaches the iron, and it doesn't fall. I think the Jaguars student section in the jungle had something to do with that. Johnston had about 7 seconds still remaining on the shot clock, but Hampton hoisted one up. 1 point lead for the Jaguars. Jaden Pratt. Impressive here to start the third quarter. 6 points all coming here in the third. Aaliyah Riley taking matters into her own hands. Going from one end of the floor to the next, drawing the foul. They get the foul on Avery Porter. Aaliyah Riley, 6 points there in the first half. Trying to end this flurry by the Jaguars. Hits the first. Riley, 9 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3 steals. Stuff in the stat sheet against Erpendale last Friday. Just a junior for the Dragons. Goes 1 for 2. Rebound collected by McKenna Clark. Clark taking it up. Hits off the back end. White right there. Putback doesn't go. Gets another crack at it. Second chance effort there for Kennedy White. Her and Jaden Pratt each have been fantastic, but Aaliyah Riley silences the Jaguar faithful. Tilly Smith called for the foul. Riley got to play alongside Anna Gosling. Gosling as tough as they come at the point guard role now at Grandview. With a fantastic start to this third quarter for her. We'll get a breather, much needed one. Jace Blanchard in for Johnston. Centennial up by 1. Here as we have crossed the halfway point of the third quarter. Pratt showing off her speed. Gets her shot blocked on the way up. 3 by Tanky. Can't get it to go. Crawford rips down the board. Pratt near corner. White, she's had the hot hand. Count it! And 1 for Kennedy White. Tanky calling for the foul, and after that quick breather, Aaliyah Riley back in, but Kennedy White Knocked down a three back in the first quarter. She now has 7 points here in the third quarter. Still being aggressive despite picking up fouls early. Five-point lead for Johnston at halftime has dwindled. Three by Ankeny. Doesn't go. Foul on Johnston. So for one of the top scoring teams in 5A, they have just hit a rock wall here in this third quarter. Took a while for the Jaguars to settle in, but playing with a lot of confidence here to start the second half. Crawford off the handoff. Lost her dribble. Pratt there to pick it up. Porter driving in with 10 on the shot clock. Tilly Smith giving a chase, but couldn't catch up to it. Very good defensive possession there for the Dragons. Pratt will take a quick seat. 6 points here in the third for Pratt. Riley, nice dish to a cutting Hampton, up and in left side. Hampton averages 11.5 points per game for the Dragons. Shooting 47% from the floor. Looking for the contact was White, no. And now here's Riley. Thought about the three was Ankeny. Here's Lewis. Off the mark. Johnston has had their good looks, but the shots have not fallen here, especially to begin this third quarter. Is now starting to dwindle down to 90 seconds. 29-27 Centennial. Tough reverse shot. Almost got the friendly roll there was Crawford. And now the Dragons slow things down with Hampton. Lewis, step back three, knocks it down. Making it look easy with that tray right there. Jenica Lewis. And a big response, a big bucket by the Dragons to put them up by one. Corner three was there for Blackmore. Good look. Less than a minute to play in what has been just an exciting night of prep hoops here to start here in Ankeny. Both teams trading the lead here in the third. Riley calling for a screen, sees the opening. Shot waved off. Getting a foul beforehand on Centennial. That will go against Blackmore. Pair of subs in for both teams. 2.5 difference between shot and game clock. Kinnitz, kick ball. So the Dragons will try again here with just a few seconds shaved off the clock. Catching the lob pass. Blanchard down low. Reaching for the bucket. Doesn't get it as Hampton. Centennial can hold for one final shot. They've been in this position for the first 2 quarters of the game. Looking to get one last momentum building shot in before we go to the fourth quarter. Porter, three. No, rebound, tipped around. Saved by Johnston. And that will take us to the fourth quarter here in Ankeny through 3 quarters of play. A tight one between these two top 10 foes. Johnston 30, Ankeny Centennial 29. We'll be back with the fourth quarter after this on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
1,300 vehicles on WaukeeChevy.com. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. If we don't have it, you can build it. Newly expanded service department means we're hiring. See the openings on WaukeeChevy.com. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Free Godfather's Pizza begins with the download. Order through my new online ordering app and start earning free pizza and sides. It's easy. Download the Godfather's Pizza online ordering app today. Do it.
Almost ready for our fourth and final quarter of action between Ankeny Centennial and Johnston. Here on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire, along with our crew. Hunter Phillips here with you from Ankeny Centennial High School. 1 point lead for Johnston into the fourth quarter. They were outscored by 4 there in the third, but Jenica Lewis, back-to-back trays dating back to the end of the third, has really stemmed the tide. Now she comes away with the steal off the glass and in. My goodness. Jenica Lewis. So you knock down your second consecutive 3, and for good measure, you collect your 4th steal of the night. Get the finish on the other side with the contact, and just a freshman as Jenica Lewis has completely turned around this ball game. Still a lot of time left, but what a huge 7-point sequence by the freshman guard. 36-29, Johnston on top of Ankeny Centennial. Scored 15 points back in the third. Pratt gets her shot blocked, but maintains the dribble. She had 6 points back in the third. Maya Crawford against Riley. Got her to bite. Left-handed layup. Not there. Riley taking a spill. Foul against Ankeny Centennial. That will go against Avery Porter. And a timeout is going to be called by Scott DeYoung and Ankeny Centennial as we've just gone past a minute into this fourth quarter. It will be a full timeout, so we'll step aside with them. 6:57 to play in our fourth quarter. Johnston 36, Ankeny Centennial 29 here on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
Winter sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses. Dick Jirash Fitness, the Ankeny Real Estate Group, Lamberti Goki Lucci Law, Cabaret Sports Bar and Grill, U.S. Cellular, Sinorama Ankeny, Wendy Thompson, an affiliate of Humble Travel, and Lincoln Savings Bank, member FDIC. Winter.
Timeout on the floor called by Ankeny Centennial here as we have just under 7 to play in our fourth quarter. A 7-0 run to start the fourth quarter, or excuse me, even if you go back to the end of the third quarter, by Jenica Lewis has propelled the Dragons to a 7-point lead. Centennial really came out strongly to start the second half with big performances by Kennedy White and Jaden Pratt. But the Dragons staying calm and collective, had an answer. Lewis, great ball movement by the Dragons, leads to a tie up underneath. Maya Crawford right there, possession arrow goes to Centennial. That almost spilled trouble for Centennial as 3 defenders were swarmed against Lewis. But Centennial staying true to their playing style, staying with the play. And after the takeaway, need something going here to claw back in. Hampton and Pratt hit the deck. Nothing called away from the ball. Here's Pratt thrashing through the lane and draws the foul. That will send the sophomore to the line for the first time tonight. Pratt, a 72% free throw shooter on the season. As we noted, has caught the attention of several college programs. Offers from Drake, Northern Iowa, South Dakota, Illinois State, and Milwaukee, amongst a number of other programs. After a little housekeeping there, Isabel Balsley checking in for Aaliyah Riley. Pratt's first free throw rolls off the iron. Pratt, we noted how great of a multi-sport athlete she is. She was named to the Class 5A All-Tournament team for state volleyball, also a very good softball player. Her brother, Easton Pratt, and the Ankeny Centennial boys will be coming up next. Foul on the Dragons off the rebound will go to Centennial. Back in is Riley, who may have lost a contact, reason why she had to check out. Make sure she put that back in. 36-30. Dragons. Lewis keeping it in bounds. That stays with the Jaguars, who are down by 5 at halftime. Outscored the Dragons 15-11 in the third. But big plays by Lewis had the Dragons up by 1 going into the fourth. How about Crawford elevating for the rebound and getting the putback? Maya Crawford doing it all tonight from a skill set perspective, scoring, but it's been just her prowess on the glass has helped keep Centennial in this one. Riley wedging through 2 Jaguars. Nothing going. 5 to play here in what has been an exciting battle between Ankeny Centennial and Johnston. Avery Porter splashing it down. Porter's had a number of good looks from long range and connects that time. Her 7th made 3 of the season. So now a run here by the Jaguars. Lewis thought about the deep 3. That will be from the Jaguar logo. Tanky's been quiet here in the second half. 6 on the shot clock. Riley driving from the corner. High off the glass, reverse layup, no. Pratt with another board. McKenna Clark. They reverse it to Pratt. Maya Crawford driving. Shot left short. Rebound gets tapped back to her. Porter, another try. Buries it! What a game we have on our hands. Timeout, Johnston. Full timeout by the Dragons as Ankeny Centennial has roared to a 2-point lead, 38-36 on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
A 7-0 Ankeny Centennial run has them up 38-36, causing Chad Gillick to burn a timeout. Avery Porter with back-to-back threes. You knew that she was not going to be quiet here tonight. It's been a series of runs here, starting late in the third quarter by Jenica Lewis and Johnston, and then collectively by Avery Porter and company for Ankeny Centennial. It will be Johnston basketball here with 3:40 to play. Inbounding is Molly Nolk. Lewis catches the inbounds to a cutting Eiley Tanky. Swarmed by three Jaguars. Riley lets it fly and buries it far side. Aaliyah Riley. So stoic in the backcourt for the Dragons. Gives them a huge tray. Back in front by one. Pratt up and under no. White hugged in the rebound and got fouled while putting up the shot. Kennedy White back at the line. White had a big third quarter in which she had 7 points. Still with foul trouble, which all stemmed from the first half, but when called upon, she has been spectacular. This to give the Jaguars the lead back. And she does so. Back and forth, we continue to go on this Tuesday night in Ankeny. 3 to play in the fourth. Hampton controlling the dribble. Tanky. Floater. No. It's been a tough second half for the Iowa State verbal commit. Back and forth play. Porter nearly got the shooter's touch. That would have been her third three here in the quarter. Tanky transition three. Can't get it to go. Chases down her own miss, but lands in the hands of Porter. Jaguars throw it away. That was actually Pratt there in the corner for Ankeny Centennial. Riley looking for the foul, doesn't get it. Tanky cleans it up. Count it for Tanky with the foul. Boy, when you are tasked to meet Aaliyah Riley and Eiley Tanky there at the rim, good luck. Tanky continuing to play just tough-nosed basketball despite struggling a bit offensively tonight. Cannot complete the three-point play, but Johnston in front by one. Multiple lead changes here in this fourth quarter. And the Jaguars will call a timeout. They have one more remaining. And we'll take a timeout with them, but don't go anywhere. It's just a one-point ball game here on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
When you need to conquer the drifts on your property, get the job done your way. The Western Defender Compact Snowplow. All the professional grade features in just the right size for your mid-sized pickup or SUV. Easy to attach and easy to use. Get the performance to plow like this and finish like this. Western, more jobs done faster.
Visit Truck Equipment Inc. today at truckequipmentinc.com.
A competitive fourth quarter, to say the least, here between Ankeny, Centennial, and Johnston. Both student sections right now battling against one another. They have had a lot to cheer for here tonight. A recent hard-earned layup by Ankeny has the Johnston Dragons clinging to a 1-point lead over Ankeny Centennial. Jaguars calling a timeout. They have 1 remaining. Johnston has 3 remaining. And it will be Maya Crawford inbound for the Jaguars. Avery Porter. Superb fourth quarter for her. Pratt. Crawford. And now here's Clark. Kennedy White driving in. Shot left short. Hampton with the board. And Riley slowly brings it up for the Dragons. Number 2 team in Class 5A. We'll call a timeout here with 1:14 remaining, 19 on the shot clock. 30-second timeout, so we'll go ahead and stay here. Chad Gillick wanting to set something up here for his Dragons, who have won 31 consecutive games. We've said it time and time again here on this broadcast, but what an incredible run they have been on. Winning 2 of the last 3 5A championships. Their last loss coming in the championship game back in 2021 to Waukee. They have had their hands full tonight against Ankeny Centennial. Centennial at number 6, 6-2, looking for their first CIML win, and what a win it would be. 8 on the shot clock to operate for the Dragons. Nolk. Nice, behind the back dish to Hampton. Kisses it off the glass and in. Just how you draw it up out of the timeout. Wonderful looking play. Pads the Dragon lead to 3. 40 seconds to go. Pratt gives it up to Maya Crawford. Crawford taking it in. Tie up between her and Lewis. Held ball signaled. Possession arrow Johnston. Great help defense there by Jenica Lewis coming in from the weak side. Putting her hands on it. Causing the held ball. And now Johnston calls a timeout. And so no doubt they will be facing pressure defense here by Ankeny Centennial, but just when the Dragons have needed stops, whenever they have needed to make plays on offense, it's not only been their senior playmakers, but one of the stars tonight, no doubt, Jenica Lewis, a player that can just make things happen on both ends of the floor. Just when Ankeny Centennial had all the momentum towards the end of the third quarter, a 3 was buried by Lewis. She started off this fourth quarter with a 3. That was a 3-point play that was a layup while being fouled. And that really picked up the rest of the Johnston team. But Centennial has proven time and time again that they can quickly erase a deficit, but now more than ever, they'll start on the defensive end. Ankeny to inbound for the Dragons. Bounces it into Riley, quickly fouled. To stop play at 28.5 ticks to go in this one. Riley, a double-digit scoring outing tonight. Got going in the first quarter, scoring 6 points in the opening frame. And then having equally as good of a quarter in the third, just when Ankeny Centennial was starting to march back. Misses the front end. Jaguars race into their front court. McKenna Clark will be at the line now for Ankeny Centennial. Aaliyah Riley called for the foul. And here is Clark. Made a free throw earlier here in the ball game, her first make at the line this season. Too strong on the first. Rebound won by Johnston. And they will walk the other way. Emma Hampton here at the line for Johnston. Just over 70% she has shot from the line here in the early portion of the season. Big make right there for the senior. Isabella Balsley. And as a defensive substitution for Johnston. Two big free throws knocked down by Emma Hampton. McKenna Clark bobbled the ball, got the layup off, and it was left a little short. Time stops at 12.6 seconds here in the fourth as it was last touched by Johnston out of bounds. Pratt catches the inbound, sets up a three for Porter. Made two earlier here in the quarter. Lewis snags in the rebound. And if Lewis can take care of business here at the line, that will more than likely seal the win for Johnston, which would be a hard-earned win at that. But before Lewis goes to the line, head coach Scott DeYoung burns his final timeout. So a full timeout. We'll take a quick break with them here on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
Winter sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses. Dick Garage Fitness, the Ankeny Real Estate Group, Lamberti Goki Lucci Law, Cabaret Sports Bar and Grill, U.S. Cellular, Sinorama Ankeny, Wendy Thompson, an affiliate of Humble Travel, and Lincoln Savings Bank, member FDIC.
Just over 6 seconds remaining here in this one. Ankeny Centennial calling their final timeout. Jenica Lewis at the line to try to seal this win up for Johnston. Lewis has been brilliant tonight. Hits the first to make it a 6-point lead. Did want to take the opportunity to give a score update. Number 4 Southeast Polk comes back from a 16-point deficit to defeat Dowling Catholic 53-50. Jaguars put up a three. Doesn't go, and Johnston, the number 2 team in Class 5A, hangs on in a hard-fought contest against 6th-ranked Ankeny Centennial, 46-40. The Dragons remain undefeated at 6-0, 4-0 now in CIML play, while Ankeny Centennial drops to 6-3 on the young season, 0-3 in CIML action. We'll take one final quick break. When we come back, we'll close out our coverage for Game 1 and get you ready for Game 2 as the boys will take the court coming up next here on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
So when an athlete walks into Nick Garage Fitness, the one thing we want them to know is that this is a phenomenal community. We have the best coaching. We have the best technology. We have the programming that can help them succeed. So whether it's trying to get on JV for the first time, going to that next level on varsity, going from a second string to an all-state player, we have the tools, we have the programming and the coaching in order to take each individual to their next level.
Western lets your UTV power through the storm. The Impact V Plow and Impact Straight Blade, with the features the pros demand, custom tailored for your UTV. And to keep your work top-notch, rely on the Tornado UTV Hopper Spreader. Now that's a job well done. Western, more jobs done faster.
Visit Truck Equipment Inc. today at truckequipmentinc.com.
Winter sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses. Weicker Realtors, the 515 Agency, Springer Floor Care, Hearts of Ankeny Animal Hospital, Ted Sandine Photography, U.S. Cellular, Made in the Shade Blinds and more, the Edward Jones Office of Kent Patterson, and Fiscus Jewelers.
Game one of our doubleheader here on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire, is in the books. What a game it was on the girls' side. Two top 10 teams in Class 5A going down to the wire. Johnston at number 2 hangs on to out west. Number 6, Ankeny Centennial, 46-40. Really a low-scoring game in the first half, in which Johnston led at the break 19-14. Give a lot of credit to Ankeny Centennial. Really came out with a lot of confidence, played tough basketball there in the third quarter, outscoring Johnston 15-11, but it was the Jenica Lewis show at the end of the third quarter, start of the fourth quarter, to really help propel the Dragons. She had a brilliant all-around game here tonight for the Dragons. Numerous steals, rebounds, other hustle plays, and some big-time buckets to give the Dragons their 32nd consecutive win. Again, that streak dating back to 2021. So again, 46-40, the final score for game one between Johnston and Ankeny Centennial. On behalf of our entire CISN.TV crew here in Ankeny, I'm Hunter Phillips signing off for now. Stay tuned. Game 2 of our doubleheader featuring the Johnston Dragons and the Ankeny Centennial Jaguars is coming up next. This has been Iowa High School basketball on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire. You are watching Iowa High School basketball on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire. The back end of our action-packed doubleheader of hoops action is just minutes away from tipping off as the Johnston Dragons go up against the Ankeny Centennial Jaguars. And hello, everyone. We're delighted to once again have you with us on this Tuesday night from inside Ankeny Centennial High School here in Ankeny alongside our CISN.TV crew. I'm Hunter Phillips. If you're just joining us, we open the night with a top 10 clash in Class 5A, and it was Johnston outlasting Ankeny Centennial 46-40. Now it is time for the boys to get rolling here on the road for the third time. Second time in Ankeny, the Johnston Dragons enter week 3 of the young season with a 3-2 record, most recently knocking off its crosstown rival Urbandale by 31 points. It's been an up-and-down start for the Dragons, who lost 5 seniors to graduation from last season's team that reached the Class 4A title game. Beginning the season with a 10-point loss to a very talented Waukee Northwest squad, the Dragons proceeded to win back-to-back contests over Ankeny and Cedar Rapids Prairie before falling in a frustrating outing at home to Dowling Catholic. Junior Taylon Proctor lit up the scoreboard in the Dragons' bounce-back victory over Urbandale last week. Awaiting Johnston tonight are the undefeated and third-ranked Ankeny Centennial Jaguars, who march into its third home game at 4-0. Centennial roared past the defending Class 4A champions Ames at the Harrison Barnes Gym on Saturday. The Jaguars' previous 3 wins came against Urbandale, Valley, and Dowling Catholic. Bob Fontana's squad has been playing with confidence to start the year, ranking 5th in Class 4A in threes made, and are anchored by the backcourt duo of Luke Winkle and Nick Vasky. Again, we're hooping on a Tuesday night here in Ankeny. We'll step aside for a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll bring you the starting lineups and tip-off between Johnston and Ankeny Centennial. You're watching Iowa High School basketball on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
When an athlete walks into Nick Rush Fitness, the one thing we want them to know is that this is a phenomenal community. We have the best coaching. We have the best technology. We have the programming that can help them succeed. So whether it's trying to get on JV for the first time, going to that next level on varsity, going from a second string to an all-state player, we have the tools, we have the programming and the coaching in order to take each individual to their next level.
Our year-end sales event is going on now at DeArmond Ford Indianola.
Find out why more people are coming to DeArmond Ford Indianola to buy their new Fords and certified pre-owned vehicles.
Come see the newest state-of-the-art dealership in the area. Every new Ford and pre-owned used is clearly tagged with one low price. Experience the DeArmond difference.
DeArmond Ford Indianola, DeArmondFord.com.
Winter sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses. Whiter Realtors, the 515 Agency. Springer Floor Care. Hearts of Ankeny Animal Hospital. Ted Sandine Photography. U.S. Cellular. Made in the Shade, Blinds and More. The Edward Jones Office of Kent Patterson. And Fiscus Jewelers.
Moments away for Game 2 of our doubleheader here tonight. It's the boys that'll end our Tuesday evening here at Ankeny Centennial High School. It is Johnston and Ankeny Centennial here on Centennial Digital on CISN. driven by Freedom Tire. Before we do get underway, we want to be sure and thank Weichert Realtors, the 515 agency, for presenting our girls and boys basketball coverage all season. Matt Bazusta and Ryan Hoover were recently recognized with the Community Investment Award from the Ankeny Economic Development Corporation and look forward to helping you buy or sell your next home. Great showing of fans here on this Tuesday night. It's been a dreary kind of Tuesday outside, rainy, windy. No better way to get away from the elements than with a little hoops action. And we're glad to have you join us at home as well. Two well-coached programs set the battle on the hardwood tonight. Johnston at 3-2, the runner-ups last year in Class 4A, while Ankeny Centennial roaring off to a 4-0 start. Learned today in the first AP rankings delivered on the season, coming in at number 3. Third home game for Ankeny Centennial, 2-0 here at home, while Johnston, with a 3-2 record, are 2-0 when playing on the road. So something is going to have to give here tonight. Here in a few moments, we'll turn things over to our public address announcer to meet the starting lineups for tonight's game between Johnston and Ankeny Centennial. So there are your starting five for both the Dragons and the Jaguars. Beginning with Johnston, it'll be Talon Proctor, Logan Carey, Sam Tornabane, Jalen Richardson, and Nathan Roosh. And for number 3, Ankeny Centennial, Drew Schreers, Chase Shuddy, Evan Bryan, Nick Vasky, and Luke Winkle. Both teams taking the court for tonight's first quarter, which is brought to you by the All-Star Concrete Team, specializing in all your commercial and street paving needs. Ankeny Centennial in their home whites with black numerals and lettering, gray trim. Jaguars in cursive across the chest. The Johnston Dragons in their road all-purple uniforms. Gold numerals and lettering, white trim. Johnston across the chest. Away we go for game number 2. Johnston wins the tip here in Ankeny. Richardson hands it off to Carey. Center of the lane. Pass gets knocked away by the Jaguars. But Talon Proctor cleans it up. Catch and shoot 3. In and out. Rebound brought down by Richardson. Held ball signaled. And it will go to the Jaguars for their first offensive possession of the night. Centennial coming off a 46-34 win at Ames, the defending 4A champions. Averaged 60 points a game while allowing 44 points per contest. Luke Winkle. Here's Evan Bryan, 6'5", senior. In the corner, Chuddy. Loaded backcourt for Ankeny Centennial that can absolutely score with the best of them. 7 on the shot clock here for Vasky. Hands it off to Winkle. 2 on the shot clock. 3 hoisted up as the shot clock was expiring. Doesn't fall for Schreers. Racing the other end is the Dragons. Up and under, coast to coast for Jalen Richardson. 6'3" sophomore, averages just under 13 points per game. Scored 15 points in the big win against crosstown rival Urbandale last week. Centennial trying to answer with their own 3. Richardson chases down the board. Just getting underway here for game 2 of our doubleheader. That one thrown in no man's land by Talon Proctor. Will be Jaguar basketball. Centennial playing in their final home game of the calendar year of 2022. We'll be back here at home on January 3rd against Waukee Northwest. What a matchup that'll be. Waukee Northwest, the number 1 team in the most up-to-date poll by the AP. Left open, letting it fly from the far side is Logan Carey. 6'-inch senior gives Johnston an early 5-0 lead. First made 3 on the season for Carey. It was 0 for 4 to enter play tonight. Short there by Vasky. Foul on the floor off the miss. That will be against Sam Tornabane. Working off the inbounds is Shuddy. Luke Winkle, averaging just over 13 points per game. Ball nearly fell in on that 3 attempt. Jaguars cool to get things going. Here is Logan Carey. Quick drive along the baseline. Finds Jalen Richardson. Richardson in a congested lane. Floater no. Tornabane nearly grabbed the board, but the Jaguars were there in the paint for that board. Elbow floater. That doesn't fall for Bryan. 3 minutes into the ball game, Centennial still looking for their first points and back on defense. Proctor lit it up against the Jayhawks, had 23 points. Middle of the lane, great footwork, great follow by Nathan Roche. 7-0 run by Johnston on the road causes Ankeny Centennial to call a timeout. A 30-second timeout by Bob Fontana. Now in his 10th season here at Ankeny Centennial, took over for this program after spending several years at Cedar Rapids Kennedy. Was there from 1997 to 2013, amassed 288 wins already with 141 wins in his career with the Jaguars. On the other side for Johnston, they are led by 4th-year head coach Brian Frick, 51 wins in his career. Homegrown kid as well. Played his college basketball at Grandview. Both teams superbly well coached. A fun battle here to begin the third week of the prep hoop season. Jaguars working out of the timeout, down 7-0. Pass fake and the floater there for Luke Winkle. You got to respect the passing ability for Winkle. He is tops in all of Class 4A in total assists with 27. Pass fake there gave him the opening for the floater to end that 3.5-minute scoreless drought for the Jaguars. Ball will go back to Ankeny Centennial. Over the back foul on Johnston. Set the check in is Prestige Taylor for the Dragons, as well as Jacob Simpson. Johnston with a deep bench. Jacob Simpson, one of the best athletes you'll see on the court here tonight. First team All-State tight end for a Johnston program that made it to the Dome early in the fall. Legal screen set up by Centennial. That waves off the three. That going against Nick Vasky. Here as we are across the halfway point of our opening quarter. 7-2 advantage for the Johnston Dragons. Richardson hard in the lane. Chase Shuddy brings down the rebound for Ankeny Centennial. 4-0 on the young season. Winkle crosses over his man and buries the mid-range shot. And that was against Jacob Simpson. Luke Winkle with the handle. He's got the first 4 points for the Jaguars. Prestige Taylor, he's been a spark plug off the bench for Johnston. Gives it up to Nathan Roosh. Step back jumper. It's in for Roosh. 6'4" senior. Had 9 points, all of which came from beyond the arc. And the Dragons win against Urbandale, but showing he could do a little bit more than knock down those 3-point shots. Catch and shoot tray up top, knocking it down is Evan Bryan. Took a little bit for the Jaguars to get going, but now the shots are falling for Ankeny Centennial. Johnston up by 2. Less than 2.5 to play here in the first quarter. Of a high ball screen. Proctor gives it up to Richardson. 3 on the way. Cash it. Richardson with his 10th made 3 on the season. He made 3 threes as well in that blowout win against Urbandale. Back and forth buckets here. Down low working in is Chase Shuddy. 6'5" junior, one of 13 total juniors on varsity for Ankeny Centennial. Taylor kicks it out. Proctor buries it. Excellent ball movement by the Dragons has led to back-to-back good looks from downtown, and they have connected. Proctor's 6th made 3 on the season. 6-point lead for the Dragons. Knocked loose. Stays with Winkle. No look pass to the corner. 3 is off the mark, but fouled on the follow-through was Vasky. The foul was on Nathan Roosh. So that will send Vasky to the line. Vasky, an excellent free throw shooter at 86.7%. Splashes in the first, 13 of 15 entering play tonight. And Centennial as a team, they are tied for second in Class 4A in free throw percentage at 76.9% as a group. We'll have one more to attempt here as Dylan Grandin checks in for the first time tonight. Logan Carey back in for the Dragons. Finished runner-up in each of the past 2 seasons. Brian Frick has built a winning program along the northwest side of the Des Moines Metro. 4-point lead for Johnston. And over in the back. Good defense by Winkle. Prestige Taylor had 1 foot on the other side of the line when he got the loose ball back. Easy call by the official. Winkle. Tremendous handles. Corner tray, far side. Knocking it down is Connor Welsh. Second made 3 on the season for Welsh. Travel on the Dragons. That against Grandin. Carried it as he caught it. So with 48 seconds remaining here in the first quarter, Centennial looking for their first lead here in the early going of this one. Can do so on this possession. Winkle, the spin, forcing one up. Jaguars keep it in play with Shuddy. Deep 3, right side, too strong by Bryan, who knocked one down earlier. Rebound by Simpson. Dragons slow things down, but not so fast, says Easton Pratt. Takes it away, gets the finish. Easton Pratt making his presence felt right away off the bench with the steal and the finish to put the Jaguars up in front for the first time, 16-15. Final seconds to go here in the opening quarter. 3 counts if it's in, and it is by Prestige Taylor. Entertaining end to an entertaining start to this ball game here in Ankeny after 8 minutes of play, rather. It's Johnston 18, Ankeny Centennial 16 on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
We are so much more
than an energy company.
We are connectors,
Community protectors.
And clean energy leaders.
We are
Job creators.
friends and neighbors.
stewards of your dollars and savings.
Yes, we.
We are so much more.
We are the energy
Behind your everyday.
And we are.
Obsessively
relentlessly.
At your service.
For 75 years, Holt service trucks have hit the streets of central Iowa to help customers in need. It might be for plumbing, heating, cooling, a water heater, or the usual repairs and maintenance. We've done that with quality work from quality employees who bring passion and personality to the job. That's the Holt difference. It gives me great pride to see how our company has grown from the seeds of success my grandfather planted in 1947. That's why more and more central Iowans are saying, let Holt handle that.
Getting ready for the West 40 Market second quarter here at Ankeny Centennial High School in Ankeny. West 40 Market is your one-stop shop for individual cuts of Iowa-raised beef, pork, chicken, bison, turkey, and lamb. From ground meats, steaks, and beef snack sticks to brisket and roast, you'll love the variety of cuts they offer. Located at 315 Southwest Maple Street in Uptown Ankeny. They also carry a variety of local honey, rubs, jams, and sauces. Shop in-store or online for convenient pickup, delivery, or shipping nationwide. Follow them on Facebook or Instagram at West 40 Market. Johnston inbounding it here as we're off and running for our second quarter. Hunter Phillips along with our Centennial Digital crew. Glad to have you on board. Proctor may have gotten away with a walk there. Richardson. No look by Carey. Lets it fly. Good defense by Centennial. They get the basketball here. We're able to come back and take the lead late in the first quarter. Johnston started the game on a 7-0 run, but the Jaguars were able to catch fire. Pratt for 3. Off the iron. Dragons bring down the rebound. Pratt was the one that gave Centennial the lead late in the first with a steal at half court. And then a layup. Fade away from inside the elbow. Roosh made one earlier, and Roosh walked on that one. It's just that he collected the ball at the top of the key. Jack Kirby in for the first time tonight for Ankeny Centennial. th meeting between these two programs since 2014. Johnston winning last year in a high-scoring affair, 92-71. But prior to that, Ankeny Centennial had won 3 straight. So in those previous 11 meetings, in a tight series, Centennial with the 6-5 advantage. Carey drawing the contact. They will get that foul on Connor Welsh. Pratt will check out along with Welsh for Centennial. And checking out for Johnston is Nathan Roosh. Carry to inbound for the Dragons. Dangerous pass picked off by Schreers, who just checked in and earns the trip to the line. Carey knew that time was starting to wind down before it'd be a 5-second call. And reading the passer's eyes like a defensive back was Schreers, who is at the line this season, a 66% free throw shooter. Doesn't connect on the first. Schreers, one of 5 seniors on this Ankeny Centennial squad, averaging 5.5 points per game, 4 rebounds per contest, splits the pair. 18-17 Johnston. Almost 2 minutes have gone by here in our second quarter. Getting the handoff is Richardson. Backs it down to Carey. Stops his dribble. Looking for a man. Goes to the corner with Grandin. Pulling up. Short corner shot in and out. Strong rebound by Evan Bryan. 3 up by Schreers. No. Strong rebound by Richardson. Dragons working in transition, but a little too quick to handle for Dylan Grandin. Second time that he has been called for a travel here in the second quarter. Turnovers mounting here to start play here in the second quarter for the Dragons. Still up by 1. Bringing it up the floor is Winkle, who got the scoring start for the Dragons. Nice dish to a backdoor cutting Vasky off the glass and in. Those two just always on the same page for the Jaguars. Both averaging double figures in scoring. Winkle at 13.3 points per game. Vasky at an even dozen. They will get that foul on Winkle. Nathan Roosh back in for Johnston and for Dylan Grandin. Battle of backcourts tonight. Plenty of firepower on both sides. For the second time tonight, Ankeny Centennial is up. Logan Carey, one of 8 seniors for the Dragons. Off the high screen. Off the dribble. Pulling up. Gets a shot blocked. Gets it back. Tough fadeaway shot. Grazes off the rim. Centennial hanging tough in the low post. Vasky running the point here for the Jaguars. Shuddy. How about Carey acrobatically keeping that in one in play? Bryan Still 10 on the shot clock. Driving in. Baskey, I think he was looking for the pass instead of the shot, and may have thought that there was some contact while he elevated. Proctor speeding his way through to draw the foul. Contact and physicality starting to pick up here in the second. That will send the 6'1" junior Talon Proctor to the line. Again, what a night for Talon Proctor last Friday at Urbandale. 23 points, 9 of 13 shooting from the floor, 4 of 7 from beyond the arc. 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 3 steals. He has quickly become an explosive option in that starting 5 for Brian Frick's Johnston Dragons. 2 makes by Proctor give the Dragons the lead back. Count it! And 1 for Evan Bryan. Bryan hesitated just so slightly there down low, waited for the flyby. Got it up and in with the foul. So Bryan, a 6'5" senior. Perfect 3 of 3 from the line to try to complete a 3-point play, and he does so. Largest lead here in the early portion of this one for Ankeny Centennial. Other than an early 7-0 run by Johnston, neither team has really been able to gain a lot of separation here tonight, which is what we expected. Carey. Proctor. Looked for the pull-up, active hands by Winkle, denies that. Nice strong man-to-man defense. Now switching back. Proctor skips it out to Richardson. First shot, no. Short putback left a little short. Rebound, Ankeny Centennial. Denying the shot is Nathan Roosh. Evan Bryan thought he had an easy one down low. Richardson, guarded by Vasky. Jacob Simpson back in. Carey made a 3 earlier, opts not to take it despite giving some open real estate. Roosh finds Carey, 3, knocks it down. Ankeny Centennial daring Carey to shoot it from long range, and he has made 2 here tonight. Johnston back in front by 1, 23-22. Winkle. Baskey, 3. Too strong. Roosh hauls in the rebound for the Dragons. Multiple lead changes here in this touch-and-go second quarter. Johnston led 18-16 after the first quarter. Logan Carey walks with the basketball. At least 4 travels on the Dragons here in the second quarter. We'll give another possession here to Ankeny Centennial. Winkle brings it up. Easton Pratt back in the game for the Jaguars. Splicing through the lane is Bryan. Ball knocked loose last off of Johnston. Just under 2 to play here in our first half. Operating off the inbounds are the Jaguars here with Winkle. Around the baseline, Bryan, 3. Doesn't fall. And big Jacob Simpson in there for the defensive rebound for Johnston. If you're just joining us, missed the first game of our doubleheader, top 10 battle on the girls' side. Number 2, Johnston defeating number 6, Ankeny Centennial, 46-40. A game that came down to the wire, and have a feeling we're going to see the same thing here in game 2. Winkle leads the fast break. Prestige Taylor slowing down the tempo by knocking it away, and Pratt, as he was dribbling in, reach-in foul on the Dragons, much to the disagreement to the Johnston bench. So here is Easton Pratt. Younger sister Jaden played earlier in game 1 of our doubleheader. Pratt, like his sister, phenomenal multi-sport athlete, hits the first free throw. Will be playing baseball collegiately at Minnesota State Mankato, a phenomenal program in the land of 10,000 lakes. Seen a number of standouts from the Des Moines Metro play at Minnesota State Mankato for the Mavericks baseball program. Pratt with 4 big points and a steal off the bench. Both times he's had the scoring, he's put the Jaguars back in front. They collect another steal here with now 47 seconds and counting to go here in the second quarter. Winkle through the lane. It doesn't get the finish. Winkle just so deceiving. Don't know where he's going to go with the basketball. 5-second difference between shot and game clock here for the Dragons. Dylan Grandin. Carey with the pass fake. Met by a slew of Jaguars. Prestige Taylor hit the final 3 of the first quarter. Floater trying to use the glass was Grandin. He thought that he was fouled on the play. 3.7 seconds here for Ankeny Centennial, who will inbound at far sideline. Drew Schreers along with Chase Shuddy. Back in for Ankeny Centennial. Catching it is Schreers. Corner 3 by Vasky. Doesn't reach the cylinder. And that takes us to halftime here in Ankeny. Back and forth affair between the Jaguars and the Dragons. And as both teams go into the locker room, it will be Ankeny Centennial on top of Johnston, 24-23. We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll recap all of the action from our first half next here from Ankeny on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
When you need to conquer the drifts on your property, get the job done your way. The Western Defender Compact Snowplow. All the professional grade features in just the right size for your mid-sized pickup or SUV. Easy to attach and easy to use. Get the performance to plow like this and finish like this. Western, more jobs done faster.
Visit Truck Equipment Inc. today at truckequipmentinc.com.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Winter sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses. Nick Garage Fitness,
the Ankeny Real Estate Group, Lamberti Goki Lucci Law, Cabaret Sports Bar and Grill, U.S. Cellular, Sinorama Ankeny, Wendy Thompson, an affiliate of Humble Travel, and Lincoln Savings Bank, member FDIC.
We have reached halftime here on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire. Tight one at halftime here at Ankeny Centennial High School. Number 3, Ankeny Centennial with a 1-point lead at the break over Johnston, 24-23, along with our entire Centennial Digital crew here in Ankeny. I'm Hunter Phillips, and man, just back and forth. That's all you can say really about that first half. Both teams really couldn't gain that much separation, although it did start that way for Johnston, who took an early 7-0 lead before Ankeny Centennial called a timeout to regroup. Johnston would outscore Ankeny Centennial 18-16 in the first, but then in a much more low-scoring second quarter, Ankeny Centennial would top Johnston there 8-5. We do have other scores from around the Des Moines Metro to pass along to you as well. Waukee leading against Urbandale right now at half, 33-26. Waukee Northwest across town at Ankeny. It has been all Waukee Northwest tonight, 40-17. And then right now Southeast Polk over Dowling there in Pleasant Hill, 29-27. Today was the first release of the AP Iowa Boys Basketball Prep Poll. And Waukee Northwest, who we noted earlier, is at Ankeny tonight. They came in at number 1. They're at 4-0. At number 2, Cedar Rapids Kennedy, 3-0 to start the season. They are at 10th ranked Cedar Falls on the night. Number 3, checking in is the home team tonight, Ankeny Centennial at 4-0. Waukee 4-1 at number 4 in the first poll of the season. They're at Urbandale once again. They're at number 5, Dubuque Senior coming in. They are 3-0 and host an always formidable team in Iowa City High. At number 6, you move out west to Sioux City East. They are 4-0 to begin this season. They are at their crosstown rivals, Sioux City North. And then at number 7, checking in is North Scott of Eldridge, 3-0 for North Scott. They are at Davenport Central. Number 8, checking in is Indianola, of course, led by one of the top players in the state, Andrew Kingery, 3-0 for the Indians. They are not in action tonight. They actually will play at home against Norwalk on Friday. Iowa City West at 4-0. They are at Wahlert Catholic. And then finally, again, Cedar Falls rounding out the top 10, 2-0. They hosting number 2, Cedar Rapids Kennedy. Johnston did receive 7 votes in the initial AP Iowa Boys Basketball Prep Poll. But right now, it is the home team, Ankeny Centennial, leading Johnston 24-23. We'll take another timeout. When we come back, we'll get you all squared away for our second half here in Ankeny. Here on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
When an athlete walks into Nick Drosh Fitness, the one thing we want them to know is that this is a phenomenal community. We have the best coaching. We have the best technology. We have the programming that can help them succeed. So whether it's trying to get on JV for the first time, going to that next level on varsity, going from a second string to an all-state player, we have the tools, we have the programming and the coaching in order to take each individual to their next level.
For 75 years, Holt service trucks have hit the streets of central Iowa to help customers in need. It might be for plumbing, heating, cooling, a water heater, or the usual repairs and maintenance. We've done that with quality work from quality employees who bring passion and personality to the job. That's the Holt difference. It gives me great pride to see how our company has grown from the seeds of success my grandfather planted in 1947. That's why more and more central Iowans are saying, let Holt handle that.
Hi, this is Chris from Fireplace Superstore, and you've probably noticed there's shortages on most everything in the market today. Well, Heat and Glow has helped us out this year, and they are focusing their energy on their gas fireplace inserts. So if you've got a drafty old wood-burning fireplace and you want to get it retrofitted into a beautiful, high-efficient gas fireplace, come see us. We will have product to sell you.
Heat and Glow gas fireplace insert from Fireplace Superstore. 109th and Douglas in Urbandale, just west of Homeacres.
Winter sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses. Weichert Realtors, the 515 Agency. Cinerama Ankeny. Discus Jewelers. Lincoln Savings Bank, member FDIC. 72 Degrees, your comfort company. The New York Life Office of Josh Cowart. Rock Valley Physical Therapy, and the Iowa Rush Soccer Club.
Welcome back here to Ankeny Centennial High School in Ankeny on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire. 24-23, Ankeny Centennial leads Johnston here at halftime. We're just a few minutes away before we get back underway for the second half. Want to give a shout out to the color guard who put together their first performance of the season. You got to see that here earlier at halftime. Did a phenomenal job putting on a show here at the break. And speaking of putting on the show, that is what we've seen through one half of basketball between the Jaguars and the Dragons. And wouldn't expect anything different again between two well-coached teams. At least 5 times there in the second quarter, we saw the lead change, and when a team took the lead, it seemed like it did not last very long. Again, Johnston led after the opening quarter, 18-16. Both teams are really starting to find their rhythm offensively late in the first quarter. Both teams were consistently knocking down threes, but then that wasn't the case there in the second quarter. It was really defense and a few unforced turnovers on both sides that led it to be a low-scoring affair in the second, in which Ankeny Centennial edged Johnston there 8-5 to take the 24-23 lead here into the second half. We knew that something was going to have to give in this one for multiple reasons. For one, Johnston perfect on the road. The road environments have not been anything to worry about for the Dragons, especially thus far here in the jungle. The student section has certainly provided the lift when needed for Ankeny Centennial, coming in again at number 3 in the first AP poll, and 2-0 when playing here at home. So we saw balanced scoring efforts on both sides. We saw Evan Bryan, Nick Vasky, Luke Winkle, and even some good stuff from Easton Pratt off the bench for Ankeny Centennial. And for Johnston, a nice blend of Jalen Richardson, Nathan Roosh, and Talon Proctor as well. I'm sure one player that Johnston will want to get going is Sam Tornabane, who averages just under 10.5 points per game. He did not score there in the first 16 minutes of regulation. So buckle up, because we're ready to go for a strong second half. And it will be the Rainbow of the Heartland third quarter to get us going in the second half. Parents and grandparents, check out Rainbow of the Heartland in Grimes for the best in swing sets, basketball hoops, courts, and trampolines. They also offer commercial playgrounds and have been Iowa's Playground Superstore for 25 years. Call 1-800-RAINBOW or visit rainbowoftheheartland.com. A Rainbow 3 gets things rolling for the Jaguars to open up play here in our third quarter. The largest lead of 4 points for the Jaguars off the give. Finger roll isn't there for Richardson. May have been partially tipped on the way up. Roosh pulling up from the free throw line. No. Rebound by Chase Shuddy and Ankeny Centennial. Great effort there by Carey, but it landed right in the hands of Shuddy. Layup well contested. Proctor taking it all the way to the rack. Wild shot. Frantic pace here to start our second half. Spinning is Winkle. Tornabane with the block, but they will get him for the foul. Actually, they will get that on Proctor. So that was before the block. Administered there by Tornabane. So here is Luke Winkle. As we highlighted back in the first half, leads the state in total assists with 27, Thompson 4A. It's caught the attention of a few schools around the Midwest. Does have an offer from Grandview. And Winkle hits both. 5-0 run for Ankeny Centennial, who now applies the press here on Johnston to start the third quarter. I believe we have a timeout called by the Johnston bench. So with it being a 30-second timeout, we will go ahead and keep it here. So Johnston wanting to regroup here as they have let their grasp of this game slip away just a little bit with a 5-0 run here early by Ankeny Centennial. Maybe looking for better shot selection against this Ankeny Centennial defense. So we'll see what the Dragons draw up out of the timeout. Inbounding it will be Nathan Roosh, far side for the Dragons. Backup point guard, Prestige Taylor. Tornabane gives it back up to Taylor. Guarded by Winkle. Roosh. Methodical possession here for the Dragons. Richardson with a double team. Tornabane three. Doesn't go. And a foul late in that possession. That will be called against Evan Bryan. And that was a 2-point shot there in the corner. So Tornabane looking for his first points of the night. Does not get the first free throw to fall. Tornabane standing at 6'7", a senior. Averages 10 points, 7.6 rebounds per game. Had 10 points and 7 rebounds in the win over Urbandale. And I do beg your pardon, that is a 3-shot trip here at the line for Tornabane. Public address announcer thought maybe it was a foul on a 2-point shot, but instead a 3-point shot. Tough angle, at least from our location, to tell. Getting 2 of 3 is Tornabane to end that initial 5-0 run. Bryan thought about unloading it from deep. And now he's back with it with the jab step. Shuddy muscling in. Blocked once, but then gets his own miss and a hard-earned deuce there for Shuddy. Makes it a 31-25 lead for the Ankeny Centennial Jaguars. Trying to fend off a feisty Dragon squad tonight. 5 points now for Prestige Taylor. First points from inside the 3-point arch. Here is Shuddy. Bryan. Just so crafty there. Pulling up off the dribble. This is a guy that you got to respect as a 3-point shooter. And a tough floater in the lane is in. Carey, low block. Backtracks his dribble. Shot fake from Rouge, corner 3. Nearly fell in. In the corner, Schreers takes a couple hops. Tornabane rebound. Gives it back to Prestige Taylor. Looking over to head coach Brian Frick for instructions here. Tornabane. What a loose with the hands and a near slip. Carey guides it over Richardson. High arching three. No. Tornabane collects the miss and the follow. 4 points for Sam Tornabane. 33-29. Ankeny Centennial. Midway through our third quarter. Luke Winkle just so confident when handling the basketball, cradling it there in mid-flight. Not afraid of the contact. Luke Winkle back at the line. Here for Ankeny Centennial, who, as we noted earlier, final home game of the calendar year of 2022. Have a tough one ahead of them in Waukee Northwest on Friday. Meanwhile, Johnston, they will host the West Des Moines Valley Tigers on Friday. Sprinkling in that press are the Jaguars. After a lengthy sit on the bench, here's Talon Proctor. Dragons hope to get him going. Roosh. Back to Proctor. Proctor looking for the skip in the baseline. Roosh. Nothing going as the Jaguars playing strong D here. Spinning in and a travel, sliding the pivot foot. There was Proctor. Ankeny Centennial's defense has been awfully tough here tonight. Mostly sticking to a man-to-man, but then when you throw in that press and the occasional zone, it just always keeps a team on their heels. Centennial led by 1 at halftime. They're up by 6 here with 3:15 to play in the third. Welsh, open three, and knocking it down. Chase Shuddy. 8th made 3 on the season for the junior Chase Shuddy. Timeout on the floor will be called by Johnston. Ever since a large scoring opening quarter for the Dragons, they have been met head on by a fierce Jaguars team defensively. Meanwhile, the Jaguars just playing their brand of basketball, cutting in, playing a little high-low game. It's given them plenty of good looks, and they have cashed in ever since really a slow first 3 to 4 minutes here tonight. 38-29 Jaguars. Just over 3 to play in the third. Out of their timeout, Dragons needing some points here. And that is the second time that the Dragons have just simply been on the wrong page. A miscommunication. One player was cutting, the other didn't expect it, and the pass lands in the media row. Jaguars hoping to get some points off of this turnover. How about the active hands of Roosh? Taking it the other way and lays it up and in. Officials said that the shot clock did not reset. Again, one of the new wrinkles of the game this year for both girls and boys basketball is the shot clock. And give our officials so much credit, and everyone at the scorer's table. Certainly not an easy skill to learn, because in the game of basketball, everything's happened so quickly. And for the officials to know to reset it. Back underway we go. And a travel on Baskey. Happy feet from both teams here tonight. Number of travels called on both teams on the floor. Just over 2 to play here on the third. Johnston trying to build off of a nice steal and bucket by Nathan Roosh, who has it far corner. Carey spins. Proctor 3. Knocks it down. Dragons want some more of that second made 3 tonight for the junior Talon Proctor. 4-point lead for Ankeny Centennial, who has been in control for much of this third quarter. Nice kick out to the corner, but an offensive foul. Taking the contact down low was Proctor. They'll get that on Connor Welsh. So the door remaining a little open here for the Dragons. Talon Proctor finds Roosh. Proctor corner tray. You bet. It's like when he makes that first one, the rim gets a little bigger and bigger. Three's falling for Proctor. And a timeout called by Bob Fontana and Ankeny Centennial. Here's the lead is dwindled down to 1. What was as much as a 9-point lead for Ankeny Centennial. Now down to a single possession. And this is what we came to expect, that there wasn't going to be much separation for both of these teams here tonight. It was going to take a tremendous effort to do so. It's been a game of runs. And whoever make that hustle play that may not show up in the box score tends to help out in the long run on the scorecard. So Centennial regrouping after back-to-back threes made by Talon Proctor, looking for a valuable possession here. So we have just under a minute to play in the third. Winkle, floater, in and out. Roosh brought down the rebound. A pair of Jaguars are around him. Held ball is signaled. Ball will go to Johnston. So a little housekeeping being done there in the paint. Thirteen-second difference here between shot and game clock for the Johnston Dragons to operate with. Led by 2 after the opening quarter did the Dragons. But then we're down by 1 at halftime. Proctor's had the hot hand. Swarmed by the Jags. Roosh to Carey. Trying to maneuver his way there along the baseline. Roosh, pull-up floater in. Roosh has that touch in the mid-range game. And now just like that, the Dragons firing now on all cylinders. Back in front by 1. Centennial to hold for the final shot. Winkle probing through the lane. Up and under. Tremendous stuff from Luke Winkle. Half-court shot. Almost banked in for Logan Carey. It's been a tight one here tonight. Through 3 quarters of play, we go into our 4th and final quarter here in Ankeny, with the Johnston Dragons up on number 3, Ankeny Centennial, 40-39 on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
1,300 vehicles on WaukeeChevy.com. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. If we don't have it, you can build it. Newly expanded service department means we're hiring. See the openings on WaukeeChevy.com. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Free Godfather's Pizza begins with the download. Order through my new online ordering app and start earning free pizza and sides. It's easy. Download the Godfather's Pizza online ordering app today. Do it.
Off and away we go into our fourth quarter here in what has been a tight up and down battle between Ankeny, Centennial, and Johnston here on Centennial Digital on CISN. Driven by Freedom Tire. Been a lot of tread on the tires here in this one. Back and forth play between two well-coached teams. Hunter Phillips along with our crew. Delighted to have you with us. Luke Winkle at the last bucket there the third quarter, but doesn't get the three to fall. His first attempt from beyond the arc. Final score for one of the top teams in the state. In fact, it is the top team. Waukee Northwest against Ankeny, easily defeating the Hawks 60-29. Number 3, Ankeny Centennial has had to work really hard here tonight, and it's been because of plays like that. Logan Carey, nice up and under. Started with the footwork, and then the left-handed up and under. Carey with 2 threes, and now that layup right there. 41-40. Johnston, shot fake, step back three, short from Schreers. And you don't mind him taking those shots. Proven to be a good three-point shooter this season. Talon Proctor really picked up the slack there in the third, knocking down a pair of threes, including one there in that very spot in the far corner. Logan Carey finds Proctor. 10 on the shot clock. Crosses his man. Bounces it out to Simpson. Carey. Shot fake. Floater. Left short. Just what the Jaguars needed defensively. Closing in on shooters like Proctor and really making them work deep in the shot clock. 3 up top. Doesn't quite get there for Evan Bryan. Has a 3 in tonight's game. Roosh. Tornabane 3. No. Not going to take the rebound away from Jacob Simpson. Roosh. Held onto on the drive. 13th foul on the Jaguars here in this second half. Connor Welsh, Easton Pratt, a pair of Jaguars back in the game. Tornabane on the inbounds, the catch, driving in. Hook shot off the glass there for Tornabane, who had to show a little patience and then gets rewarded. Tornabane with 6 points, all coming here in the second half. Bryan. Winkle hesitates. Reverse layup, no, but coming back in athletically in mid-flight to grab the rebound and bounce it in. The putback is Chase Shuddy. Down to a 1-point lead for the Dragons. 5 to play. And this exhilarating up and down battle between the Dragons and the Jaguars. Tornabane Blocking foul. And that occurred, I should say, before the shot. They will get that foul on Evan Bryan. Jalen Richardson will check in for Logan Carey, who has given all sorts of effort and some tonight. So after wiping off a little condensation there on the ground, still making sure that the surface is of the standards to both teams and the official. Proctor to inbound for the Dragons. Has to give it up. Finds Tornabane. Proctor hands it back off to Tornabane. It's been a two-man game. Proctor, Tornabane, shot fake drives, got the ball knocked loose. And another foul on Ankeny Centennial. That is their 5th team foul. They get Winkle for the infraction. Fresh 35 to work with here for the Dragons. Richardson catches. Tornabane spot up 3. No. Rebound, Chase Shuddy. Centennial led by 1 at halftime. Luke Winkle buries it. Gained enough separation there from his defender with that dribble. Luke Winkle with a fantastic night. Richardson. Rouge deep 3. No. Rebound and put back in for the always reliable Jacob Simpson. Timeout on the floor. 3:42 to play in this one. Dragons hanging on to a 1-point lead. It's going to go down to the wire here on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
When you need to conquer the drifts on your property, get the job done your way. The Western Defender Compact Snowplow. All the professional grade features in just the right size for your mid-sized pickup or SUV. Easy to attach and easy to use. Get the performance to plow like this and finish like this. Western, more jobs done faster.
Visit Truck Equipment Inc. today at truckequipmentinc.com.
Timeout called by the Johnston Dragons. They have 2 remaining. And Ankeny Centennial with 3 timeouts remaining here, as both teams have traded the lead for really the majority of the night. Johnston had early separation in the first quarter. Ankeny Centennial had a 9-point lead in the third quarter. But as we knew going in, this was going to come down to the very end, and that is what it looks like. But still, a lot of time left. 3:42 to go. It will be Centennial basketball out of the Johnston timeout. Winkle gets a screen, hesitates, drives in. Had a defender watching his eye there as he took a little peek behind his shoulder and then flashed by for another tricky layup. But fun stuff tonight. Johnston nearly turns it over. Richardson, beautiful dish down low. Tornabane with the height. Gets it off the glass and in. Tornabane has had himself a really nice second half, but give credit to Richardson, knowing where his man was going to be. Pulling up, elbow. Rattles home for Evan Bryan. Bryan's had a quiet second half, but he can give you critical points when needed. Again, this has been the story all game. One team takes the lead, the other one recaptures it. So on and so forth. Simpson. Proctor. Back down low to Simpson. Foul from behind on Chase Shuddy. Simpson standing at 6'6" tall. Offers from Iowa State, Texas Tech, Louisville, and Vanderbilt for football. Again, a guy that chances are you're not going to be able to move him out of position. He's handling it right now up top. Nathan Rouge. Near bobble by Richardson. Got it knocked out by Welsh. Jaguars picking the pocket out of the Dragons. Up by 1. Winkle. 3 on the way. Off by Bryan. Simpson snaring in another rebound. Proctor. Before he gave it up to Richardson in the corner, tripped up and fouled. 8th team foul on Centennial. Or check that is their 7th team foul, but either way, Johnston is in the bonus. And it will be Talon Proctor. 66.7% free throw shooter entering the night. Hits the first of the 1-and-1. Second on the way by Proctor, and he hits it. 90 seconds to go here in Ankeny. Johnston looking to take down the number 3 team in Class 4A, who calls a timeout to draw up a play here with 1:27 to go. We'll take one with them on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
So a timeout called by Ankeny Centennial. They have 2 timeouts remaining, as does Johnston. Fouls really picking up for Ankeny Centennial here in the second half. They have 17 fouls, while Johnston only has 2. We do have another final score to bring you while we do have the opportunity. Number 4, Waukee defeating Urbandale 68-56. That just shows you how good Class 4A is when an Omaha Blue-led Waukee squad is in at number 4. Just getting started here for what's going to be an exciting 2022 through 23 Prep Boys season. Out of the Jaguars timeout. Winkle. Been big here down the stretch. Going against Proctor. Finds an open receiver. And Welsh, reverse layup up and in. Winkle just knows what to do, no matter if it's one defender, one-on-one, or 2. Rouge 3, hits it. Big time triple by Nathan Rouge, far side. 52-50 Johnston, less than a minute to go. Winkle, Welsh. Foul down low on Johnston. Nick Baskey was absolutely smothered. The Johnston sideline thought it was a clean play. But Nick Baskey, who has been fairly quiet tonight, particularly here in the second half, will be at the line. 2 big free throws coming up here for the junior. The gym quiet for Vasky. Hits the first. Vasky making 2 free throws earlier in the ball game. Hits both, and we are tied again. Easton Pratt in for Connor Welsh. Pratt with a steal and 4 points tonight. Centennial doesn't put as much pressure on the Dragons here. 8-second difference between the shot and game clock, and as Proctor brought it over with a timeout to spare in his back pocket, Brian Frick calls a timeout. And we'll go ahead and take a break as well after these messages. We'll bring you the rest of the fourth quarter after this on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
Winter sports coverage on Centennial Digital is driven by Freedom Tire and brought to you by these generous local businesses. Dick Garage Fitness, the Ankeny Real Estate Group, Lamberti Goki Lucci Law, Cabaret Sports Bar and Grill, U.S. Cellular, Sinorama Ankeny, Wendy Thompson, an affiliate of Humble Travel, and Lincoln Savings Bank, member FDIC.
Timeout by the Dragons. They have 1 remaining. Here as time is winding down in the fourth quarter. 52-52. Dragons and Jaguars. 36.3 seconds to go. Johnston will have it on their end of the floor. Handling the inbounding duties will be Sam Tornabane, the 6'7" senior. Talon Proctor lives for these moments. Logan Carey has had the steady hand tonight. Hands it off to Proctor. Slashing through, nearly lost his dribble, just keeping his footing alive. Johnston burns their final timeout. 12 seconds on the shot clock. We'll go ahead and stay here as we have 20.4 seconds remaining in this one. Johnston looking for their big statement win of the season, while Ankeny Centennial is trying to keep their perfect start to the season intact. Been an up and down road for the Dragons, who lost 5 seniors, including Trey Lewis and Stephen Kramer, to graduation from last year's team that made it to the Class 4A title game. Ankeny Centennial, meanwhile, trying to live up to that number 3 ranking, although early in the season, a lot of energy surrounding this program. They have been able to play very solid defense when needed tonight, and they will try to force Johnston into a mistake here with 12 on the shot clock for the Dragons, who will inbound it below their basket. 20.4 seconds to go in this one. And of note, Ankeny Centennial does have 2 timeouts remaining. No timeouts left for Johnston. And we'll see how it all plays out. Tornabane off the hands of Ankeny Centennial. Very close play. It shaved 2 seconds off the shot clock. So Centennial saw what Johnston was trying to do there. Carried inbound for the Dragons. Lofts it in to Simpson. Carey driving in off the glass with the right hand. 10 seconds and counting left to go here. Coach Fontana calls a timeout with 5.2 seconds remaining. I think he wanted his boys to hustle a little bit there. It is a full timeout, but let's look at that replay. Johnston just staying with it. The stick-to-itiveness Oh, and just the calm, cool collectiveness from Logan Carey, the senior, has scored in a variety of ways tonight. In the second half, it has been courtesy of the glass. First half from the outside. Big time bucket by Logan Carey, who only averages 1.5 points per game, but he has been an all-star tonight for the Dragons. So Centennial, how do you attack this here with just 5 seconds remaining? Do you go for the tie, or do you go for the win? The first game of our doubleheader came down to the wire between the Johnston girls and Ankeny Centennial girls. Johnston holding on for that one. Little did we know that we would get this for an encore here tonight. Easton Pratt to inbound for Centennial. Gets it in to Shuddy. Winkle driving to the hoop. Draws a foul. He fell very hard to the floor. And they're going to need the athletic training staff to take a look at Luke Winkle. And luckily, he was able to bounce back up rather quickly. But he landed very hard. You could see there, and I believe his left elbow went crashing in. A sign of a leader right there. Guy who will sacrifice his body. Turn a trip to the line. Winkle's first free throw, up and in. That ball almost escaped on the opposite end of the rim. Second one on the way by Winkle is in. Tied at 54. No timeouts for Johnston. They inbound it. And the heave will not get there. And we're going to extra time here in Ankeny. Tied 54-54 as we go to overtime. We'll go ahead and regather ourselves, take a quick breather. When we come back, we'll have extra basketball for you here on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
We are so much more
than an energy company.
We are connectors,
community protectors,
and clean energy leaders.
We are
Job creators.
friends and neighbors.
stewards of your dollars and savings.
Yes, we.
We are so much more.
We are the energy
behind your everyday.
And we are
Obsessively,
relentlessly
At your service.
For 75 years, Holt service trucks have hit the streets of central Iowa to help customers in need. It might be for plumbing, heating, cooling, a water heater, or the usual repairs and maintenance. We've done that with quality work from quality employees who bring passion and personality to the job. That's the Holt difference. It gives me great pride to see how our company has grown from the seeds of success my grandfather planted in 1947. That's why more and more central Iowans are saying, let Holt handle that.
4 quarters not enough on this Tuesday night between Johnston and number 3, Ankeny Centennial. Tied at 54 as we get ready for overtime on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire. 4 minutes on the clock here in overtime. And once again, Johnston, as the timeouts carry over into overtime, do not have any timeouts to use. Centennial with 1. And away we go. Gritty play from both teams tonight. Simpson posting up behind the back dish. Carries layup, clanks off the back. And now Centennial trying to take the early lead here in overtime with Winkle. Made 2 free throws. Here's a 3. Too strong. Rebound by Roosh. Winkle made the go-ahead 2 free throws to tie this one up after Carey had a layup. Carey driving in. Finds Proctor, closed in on by Winkle. Carey to Roosh. Proctor. Touch there along the baseline. Proctor's had another big night for the Dragons. That time showing his play along the baseline. Those are tough shots to make in that short corner. Winkle bounces it to Bryan. Fadeaway. Up and in. Boy, in a grueling contest like this, those fadeaway shots takes a little extra muscle, and Bryan had enough. Tied at 56. Carey, 3, off the mark. Rebound tapped to Shuddy. Jaguars trying to break the tie. Winkle calls the play. Baskey. Easton Pratt. 10 on the shot clock for number 10, Chase Shuddy. Bryan driving in, up and under. Doesn't get there. Again, it's all about emptying the gas tank. Whatever is left here in overtime, both of these teams have given it their all here tonight. Talon Proctor gives it up to Simpson. Roosh. Foul on the floor. And 2-0 again. Ankeny Centennial over the limit in fouls. Nathan Roosh up for the 1-1. Roosh with a really solid floor game all around on the night. And the scoring and rebounding departments. Big trip at the line. Too strong on the first. How about Richardson bringing down the board? Proctor. Handles it as we approach 1 minute to play in overtime. Proctor, right side. Carey looks back to the opposite game clock. Roosh gets a screen. Proctor, 8 on the shot clock. Travel by Proctor. Centennial holding their ground defensively, forcing a critical error there by Proctor just as he was about to give it up to the corner. Call for traveling here is Centennial. 8 seconds between shot and game clock. Plenty of time here for the Jaguars. We're tied at 56. Winkle goes off to Baskey. Called for the travel. So the Jaguars give it up. Talon Proctor trying to redeem himself after a travel in the last possession. They can wait till the final one here. And again, Johnston does not have a timeout left. Did not think they had a timeout left. They said that there are no timeouts left on the scoreboard. Maybe they do have one timeout to carry into overtime. And it is a full timeout. We'll go ahead and take one with them, and we'll be back for the more than likely final possession here of our first overtime here on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
So after a little clarification, again, each team does bring in one additional timeout into overtime. The scoreboard had no timeouts remaining for Johnston, but in fact they did have one timeout. So Ankeny Centennial does have two. But regardless here, less than 20 seconds here to work with for the Dragons out of their timeout in their front court. 17.3 seconds. To be exact. It will be Roosh to inbound. Near side. Just gets it in to Proctor. Proctor and Winkle have battled all night. Proctor. Carey. Proctor with three. Pulls up. Proctor's shot doesn't go. And we're going to go to another overtime here in Ankeny. Crossing into 9:30 and beyond. It is a late night here, but an exciting night of hoops here at Ankeny Centennial High School. Tied at 56 going to the second overtime on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
1,300 vehicles on WaukeeChevy.com. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. If we don't have it, you can build it. Newly expanded service department means we're hiring. See the openings on WaukeeChevy.com. Schottenkirk Chevy Waukee. WaukeeChevy.com.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Free Godfather's Pizza begins with the download. Order through my new online ordering app and start earning free pizza and sides. It's easy. Download the Godfather's Pizza online ordering app today. Do it.
4 quarters was not enough. First overtime wasn't enough. We go to the second overtime here in Ankeny. The first time both of these teams have battled in an overtime contest, so why not make it 2, tied at 56 here on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire. Johnston had a shot to win it at the end, but it didn't go. Richardson sets it up nicely for Simpson. Got blocked from behind. Centennial ball. Winkle got the Jaguars into overtime with 2 go-ahead free throws. Shuddy backs it out to Winkle. Winkle out to the corner. 3 off by Vasky. You could tell that the first option for Winkle was along the baseline, but only had a split second to make that pass. Johnston loose with the ball. And then the Jaguars take it away. Foul on the Dragons. That is just their 5th team foul. Ankeny Centennial does have 8 team fouls. And just to clarify the timeouts again, adding another timeout for both teams. Centennial with 3, Johnston with 1 here in the second overtime. Winkle brings it up. Posting up, Bryan against Richardson, nothing going. Rebound carry and the Dragons. And who has something left in the tank? Proctor. Nice crossover. Simpson hands it back off to Proctor. Quick three. May have been partially tipped on the way off. Either way, empty possession. Jaguars race the other way. Winkle got the ball stripped. Last off of Johnston, who says that it should be our ball. And so with 3 timeouts to spare, Bob Fontana calls a timeout. We'll step aside with them here, tied 56 all in our second overtime on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire. .56 between Johnston and number 3, Ankeny Centennial. 2:17 to go in overtime number 2. Ankeny Centennial will inbound it out of their timeout. Centennial led by 1 at halftime, just to perfectly illustrate just how close this game has been all night long. The largest lead for Johnston was 7, the largest for Ankeny Centennial 9. Otherwise, up and down play. Here is Winkle, loses his footing, somehow finds the man, and the 3 is in for Drew Schreers. Play almost got broken up, but Winkle with a critical assist, and Schreers with a big-time 3. Winkle knocks it away, gets the steal, but then he fouls Carey, who came back on defense. Love the hustle from the Dragons after another turnover here in overtime number 2. So here is Winkle, lost his footing. He just knew that Schreers was waiting for it. Lightly skipped it over, and Schreers buried the triple to give Ankeny Centennial a 3-point lead. Back at the line is Logan Carey. This is the first of the 1-and-1, but here's Rouge with a 3 while being fouled. Richardson so hard on the glass. Found Rouge. Buries the 3 while being fouled. This game has delivered just about everything. Tied at 59, Rouge missed a free throw in the first overtime, makes the aforementioned 4-point play. 60-59. Johnston on top of Ankeny Centennial. Winkle. Ooh, nice one-handed dish there. The right low block to Vasky. 61-60. Ankeny Centennial back in front. See if the Dragons have an answer with Proctor. Richardson traveled just as he was about to make his move. Winkle with 2 big assists here down the stretch has led to 5 Ankeny Centennial points. Vasky making the last bucket for the Jaguars. looking to keep their unbeaten start to the season alive. 10 on the shot clock for Winkle. Winkle picks it up. Pratt walked with it and frustrated. More so with himself more than anything. 44 seconds to go here in the second overtime. 8-second difference between the shot and the game clock here for the Dragons. Proctor, Roosh made a 4-point play earlier. Gets the handoff. Richardson, floater, no. Rebound by Shuddy, who has been big on the glass. Johnston signaling, hey, we want to get a foul here to stop the clock, and they do so with fouls to work with. That is their 6th team foul. And Ankeny Centennial will call a timeout. They have 2 remaining. So a full timeout. We'll take a full timeout with them. 1-point lead for the Jaguars in our second overtime on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.
Ever have one of those awkward moments when a business disappointed you? You got ripped off? Didn't get what you expected? The Better Business Bureau can help you avoid these uncomfortable situations. BBB accredited businesses are honest, ethical, and reviewed annually by the BBB. Don't experience another awkward moment with a bad business. Trust the ones that operate with integrity. Look for the BBB seal. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org.
Timeout on the floor called by Ankeny Centennial. They will inbound it on the Johnston end of the floor. Along the far sideline here with about 20 seconds remaining in our second overtime. Jaguars up by 1. Everybody on their feet here in the student sections, at least, here at Ankeny Centennial High School. It's been an edge of your seat kind of night here in Ankeny. And Centennial didn't even throw the inbounds in. Foul on Johnston. So that is it in terms of being out of the penalty. Going over the limit. And now the 1-and-1 here for Luke Winkle. Again, Ankeny Centennial tied for second in Class 4A in free throw percentage. They have made their free throws count tonight. Trying to make them count again. Winkle hitting the first. Winkle has been box office here tonight. Nothing to it for Winkle. 3-point lead for Ankeny Centennial. Johnston does have 1 timeout remaining. They let a few seconds go off, and they will stop play with 10.3 seconds to go. And we will go ahead and stay here. What a finish to this one here tonight, here at Ankeny. And clearly, Johnston has been able to make threes when they really have needed to here tonight. They arrived in this game second in Class 4A and total threes made at 38 as a team, shooting 40.4% from beyond the arc, a very good mark. We saw earlier here in the second overtime off a missed free throw. Jalen Richardson with a rebound found Nathan Roosh, who not only hit his first 3 of the night, but also was fouled. Completed a 4-point play to give Johnston the lead, but Ankeny Centennial, to their credit, they have found the answers and have made the big plays when needed. So if you're Coach Brian Frick for Johnston, who do you want to take the big shot here? And if you're Bob Fontana, make sure you close out on your man, but do not foul. Logan Carey, baseline, Rouge, fadeaway, 3, doesn't reach the basket. Winkle gets fouled with .9 to go, and that will all but do it. Great effort by the Dragons tonight, but if Winkle can hit this first free throw, it is all done. First free throw up. Doesn't make the first. And that is the game right there. 63-60. Ankeny Centennial, number 3 in the state, holds on in a double overtime thriller against the Johnston Dragons, 63-60. So both teams split the games tonight. The girls got things going, and it was Johnston outlasting Ankeny Centennial 46-40. And then in the final game of our doubleheader, 63-60, Ankeny Centennial outlast the Johnston Dragons. So on behalf of our entire CISN.TV crew here in Ankeny, led by our producer Randy Nielsen, I'm Hunter Phillips signing off from Ankeny Centennial High School. And once again, you've been watching Iowa High School basketball on Centennial Digital on CISN, driven by Freedom Tire.